84. Fifth round action on TSN. Team Sweden began slowly in this tournament with losses to the United States and the Soviets. Then Thursday here in Vancouver, an inspired come-from-behind 4-2 victory over Team Canada. That win, with one more over Germany, assures Sweden of a berth in the semifinals. And victory tonight could mean a second-place finish in the round robin.
Well, I'm very pleased with the last 3 games because we started off real bad against U.S. and now we have improved every game, and I hope we do that in the future too.
So tonight from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, it's Sweden and Czechoslovakia. So the bottom line for Sweden, win tonight and hope they can avoid the Soviets in the semifinals beginning on Wednesday. For the Czechs, they look for their first victory of Canada Cup 84, a young and gifted hockey club, but they haven't won yet. We wonder if they can do it tonight.
Well, I think they can. We've seen them play a couple of very tough hockey games, very exciting hockey games, and they have to salvage something from this series. If they're going to come out and play no touch, no bodily contact hockey, I think the Swedes will stone them. But if they come out tonight, check and check hard, they stand an excellent chance of winning.
Team Sweden's big moment came in the victory against Canada. How good is this Swedish club?
They're only as good as you'll let them be. If you carry it to them, finish the check all over the ice, they're not too brave. They don't want to win too much when they're too far away from home. I think they can be had, but you got to be physical.
All right, Howie, Czechoslovakia and Sweden. It's Canada Cup 84 on TSN.
Welcome to Big Al's, the copier king. So, you want reduction, enlargement, triple cassettes, feeder sorter? Right this way, my man. What's that? You only want to spend how much?
Don't get talked into a big overpriced copier. Ask your Meter Man for Meta's 213 RE copier with big copier features at a very low price.
How about this, baby? Only used once by an 80-year-old secretary. Where you going? Nice hanky.
Meta, full-service copiers. Now from Yardley, an aftershave for men who go for gold. It's very cool, very fresh, with a masculine fragrance that's very British and typically Yardley. If you want an aftershave that's a winner, think Yardley and go for gold.
Friends come together, ride the clear sky. Magic sailing into good times, waiting on the ground. And the taste keeps coming through. The dice blue smiles along with you.
Welcome back to TSN Control in Toronto for Canada Cup hockey coverage between Czechoslovakia and Sweden. Tonight is the final night of round-robin play. We start the playoffs a little later on in the week. Joining us for their expert commentary on tonight's game, former NHL referee, now color commentator and broadcaster Bruce Hood, as well as assistant coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, Roger Nielsen. Roger, a number of surprises with the two teams involved in tonight's hockey game, Czechoslovakia and Sweden. The Swedes especially, they were not expected to do as well as Czechoslovakia was expected to do, but it's almost as if they've been born again.
Well, the Swedes got bombed the first game 7-1, and there was all sorts of criticism about them, of course, but since then, they've really tightened up defensively. They've only allowed 6 goals in those 3 games, and they're doing it with sort of a no-name defense because Borje Salming is missing. Of course, the 2 Islanders, Pearson and Janssen, are also away, but they've tightened up their game. They're playing with a lot of emotion now. The forwards are hitting more, and they're trying to play a game where they score on their rushes and counters and make sure they are very tidy in the other end.
Peter Lindmark, the goaltender for Sweden, has played outstanding hockey in this tournament as well.
Yes, he has. He's given them big goalkeeping, but they've played entirely differently these last 3 games, and the only one they lost was the real close game of the Russians. And they've done a great job of keeping 3 men back, and it's obvious that they've decided to play tight hockey.
Bruce Hood talking about the surprises. Czechoslovakia, surprise at the other end of the spectrum. They were supposed to make the playoffs. They're not going to. They're going to be going home after tonight's game.
That's right, and if Sweden comes up as strong as they look like they might, Czechoslovakia only has a tie to its credit. You know, they're going to be hosting the World Championships in Prague in next April, and they're going to go home with their tail between their legs. So I think they're going to want to come up big. Secondly, the coach, I think his job could be on the line if he doesn't produce some. He's got some great young talent, and they don't seem to be coming together. So he's going to be wanting to have a win, too.
Who knows, after this series, maybe Ludek Vukic will move to Calgary like everybody thought he was going to last year. Let's now go to Vancouver for more on tonight's hockey game and the pregame ceremony.
Hello again, everyone. I'm John Wells, along with Howie Meeker. We're at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, awaiting the start of this contest, the final game of the round robin for both teams, Czechoslovakia and for Sweden. For Sweden, they have already assured themselves of a berth in the semifinals with a record of 2 wins and 2 losses. Czechoslovakia with a record of 0 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie in the tournament so far.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the members of the official party for the ceremonial face-off. Mr. Tony Bombin, Marketing Manager, Pacific Region, Esso Petroleum, Canada. He is accompanied by the Esso Medal of Achievement winner, 15-year-old Paul Rutherford, who was voted most valuable player by his South Delta Bantam A hockey team. To perform the ceremonial face-off, we are pleased, through the courtesy of Esso, to present one of Canada's greatest athletes, Laurie Fung, gold medal winner in rhythmic gymnastics at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics.
Sweetheart, Howie. Oh, she certainly is. Just a thrilling performer.
Would the team captains please come to center ice?
Thomas Verdeen of Sweden and Vladimir Calder of Czechoslovakia, the official face-off.
As is the custom in international hockey, the 2 captains will now exchange gifts on behalf of their teams. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and join Mr. Richard Loney for the national anthem of the organizing country, Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. Cap d'embrasse porte le veille, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire d'une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Sweden and Czechoslovakia. It's the final games, final day of Canada Cup round-robin competition. The Swedes looking for their third victory. of the championship, and the Czechs looking for number 1. In goal for Czechoslovakia tonight, Jaromír Šindel, his second start for the Czechs. He got the hook in the first period against Germany in London last Tuesday. And for Sweden, Uta Valitello. He gets his very first start of Canada Cup in '84. Swedes have been going with Peter Lindmark in the previous 4 games so far. But Valitello gets his chance tonight. Referee in charge of things, Brian Lewis, and his linesman tonight, Bernd Schneider of Germany and Gordy Rossiker of the United States. Star-studded Swedish lineup when you look down it. It's the 8 members of National Hockey League clubs. A couple of Vancouver Canucks on board, Howie.
Yes, 2 very talented Vancouver Canucks. There's no doubt in the world that Thomas Gerdine has tremendous skills, and Patrick Sundstrom came along last year, played center for the Canucks, and there are not too many better centers in the league, and this young man is going to get better.
2 very talented Calgary Flames on board as well, and Håkan Loob, number 12, and Kent Nielsen, 14, and several other NHL teams represented by this Team Sweden aggregation here. From the face-off, Czechoslovakia losing it in the center ice area. Liba couldn't control it for the Czechs. Now, Staviana into his own zone for Czechoslovakia. Here come the Czechs again. Vasil in the center ice area. This is Lukács, number 29, in across the Swedish blue line. And keeping it in is Igor Liba to the line, not quite out. And now cleared the center ice area. Lucille for the Czechs, back to his own line. Lucille plays it off the boards, and going after it, Lindholm for Sweden. Icing is the call.
Well, I don't know about this. They've started off very, very tentative, but no one wants to touch anybody or get close to anybody at all out there. Certainly things have to change. You look at number 21, Thomas Steed, plays for Winnipeg, and I'll tell you, folks, he has super skills. Just a great, great skater, can make all kinds of plays and can score goals. But having said that, he only has 1 so far to date, so I don't think he's trying too hard. Because if he tries, he'll put the puck in the net. Watch him.
Face off in the Czech zone, controlled by the Swedes. That's Hackerson. 14 Sweden losing it now. And the Czechs start back. Pajak, number 21. He can't keep control of it outside of his own line. Fired right back in by Team Sweden. Kadlec for the Czech. And now Pajak. Upended at the blue line.
Not too often you see a player out there without a helmet, and I didn't see him lose his helmet at all. He's breaking down center, takes the pass. It's amazing how just out of sorts or out of place the fellow looks on the ice today without a helmet. Okay, guys, come on, let's get this thing going.
Are you ready for him to start?
I'm ready for him to start. Someone to take a run at somebody and get somebody mad. We're going to have a great old barn burner going here.
We've been very fortunate, Howie, as we talked before. We've seen 3 excellent games in this Canada Cup. Czechoslovakian team has been involved in 2 of the previous games we've covered on TSN. We watched them come back for a tie against Germany in London and lose by a goal to the United States in Buffalo 2 nights later. So the Czechs still looking for victory number 1, Canada Cup '84. Into the Swedish zone now. From the face-off, now it's loose along the boards. Kept in at the line by Staviana. Staviana backhands it to the side of the goal. Lala can't get to it for Czechoslovakia. Here come the Swedes, led by Patrick Sundstrom. Number 17 still has it as he gets in across the line. Then he's ridden out of the play by Staviana. Sundstrom in the corner, working against Uvera of Czechoslovakia. Uvera gets it to the line, not out. Yes, it was.
Well, there's been 7 or 8 opportunities where a Swedish player could step into a Czech player or vice versa. They've just stuck the stick out and skated right on by. This is going to be a no-hitter tonight.
You can tell already?
Yes, I can tell already. Hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong. Come on, guys. There's Patrick Sundstrom that you're looking at there, and just the improvement in this fellow's ability to handle the puck and play in close quarters from one year to another is amazing. 2 years ago, when he first came over here from Sweden, he just couldn't play in a crowd, couldn't make the plays with anybody around him, get rid of the puck too soon, too late, or just didn't get rid of it. And then all of a sudden, last year, he learned to play in the crowd, and he played well. I think what you're looking at now is Ruzicka on that last face-off over in the far boards. Came up with a stick and caught the official right in the face. Just watch this. Gee.
Swedish player, Sundström. That was Patrick Sundström. Gord Proseker.
Got a good crack right in the snout. Look at that. Two black eyes tomorrow.
Yeah, they will be black, won't they?
That's all that's going to be black. Is the official. Unless these guys get going at each other, there's not going to be too many bruises.
Musil back behind his own goal, number 6 for Czechoslovakia. And the Swedes forechecking now. Loose puck out in front, right for Sandstrom, 28. Didn't really get a shot away. Kadlec playing it over for Musil. And Musil starts up for the Czechs. Across the Swedish line, but it was offside on the far side. Number 23, Hamish, was astride ahead of the play. No scoring here in Vancouver. Czechoslovakia, Sweden. We have 17 minutes, 53 seconds to play in period 1.
Well, this line of Thomas Dean, Kent Nielsen, and Håkan Loob should just run away and hide tonight. They have extraordinary skills, all of them, and if they ever get it going, the red machine will be lucky to touch the puck.
There's Steen. Now it's ahead for Loob. He gets the first shot on Schindel. And cleared quickly to the center ice zone once more. Swedes in control, dumping it in. Thielen. And for the Czechs, Haraba. Haraba ahead for Igor Liba. Liba in the center ice zone. To the blue line and across. Here's Liba clearing it over to the far side. Lukács goes in after it. Now back out for Liba. He's all alone in front, circling. Can't get a shot away. Played it back, and it's across the line. Tried to get it back to Haraba, but it deflected off a skate and into the center ice zone. Checks on the attack once more. This is Liba. Liba, good pass behind his back to Lukács, who put himself offside. Still no scoring in Vancouver. It's Sweden and Czechoslovakia, and this is Canada Cup 84 on TSN.
Tony Tanti, Jim Viplinski, Kevin Lowe, Rick Vai, Norm Rochefort, Dale Howardchuk, Guy Carbonneau. 7 pros racing against the clock. Who will be the winner? If you select him, you can win one of 7 Chrysler lasers in Gillette's Super Skater Contest. So enter where you see this Gillette display and act fast.
Back for a face-off just outside the Team Sweden line. At center ice for Czechoslovakia, Dusan Pashek. He wins the draw. Back for Uvera. Uvera dumps it in. 3 Czechs go after it. Swedes controlling in their own zone and starting out once more. This is Eklund. Eklund, long pass on the left side for Peter Sundström. Swedes lose control in the Czech zone. Now back to the point. Kept in by Sweden. After it, Selvin. He can't control, and it's Korbela for the Czechs, number 26. Korbela goes down. And a penalty coming up. Slashing would be the indication from referee Brian Lewis, and there's the man of the moment, Korbela of Czechoslovakia.
From skiing to tennis, let the pros show you how they do it on TSN's Tips. Having trouble getting your game going, or maybe you just need a pointer or two to sharpen up your style? That's what Tips is all about. Join us for the next edition here on TSN.
Well, here's the slashing penalty, and gee whiz, I don't even think he caught him across the body at all. It was slashing right on the stick, and that's about the only type of penalty you're going to see tonight. I hope there are quite a few of them, because both these clubs moved the puck exceptionally well on the power play, although no one in the league or the Canada Cup Series scored any goals. What, 12 games, 9 power play goals? That's hard to believe.
All right, the Czechs will try and kill it off here. Behind his own goal, Yuri Lala, number 20. He's been an outstanding performer for the Czechs so far in this championship. Just a young guy. And dumped all the way down the ice. 1 minute, 42 seconds left in the Swedish manpower advantage as the Swedes start back to regroup from behind their own line. Center ice area. That's Mats Naslund. Naslund in across the line. Still has it, and then finally lost it now. Eric Eklund has it and lost it quickly to the Czechs, who start back. Czechs playing a man shorthanded. This is Captain Vladimir Calder. Calder going in. Gets it out to the side of the net, and it's steered aside by Valitello. Now the Swedes with 1:12 left in the manpower advantage, led by Peter Sundstrom. Eklund back to the point for Sundstrom. Or rather for Peter Anderson. And Anderson, 19, waits for it once more, gets the shot just wide. And Schindel falls on a loose puck behind his goal. So not glorious scoring chances for the Swedes so far on this power play.
Well, I can't understand why they're not moving it in the middle of the box. The Czechoslovakian team, look at all that room in the middle of that box. And there are two Swedes in front of the net. One of them has to go in front of the net to occupy the defenseman's attention and maybe block the goalie a little bit. The other guy has to get in the deep slot or right in between the hash marks and center right. There's nobody in there. Nobody within a cut 2 miles.
Patrick Sundstrom of the Vancouver Canucks has 2 assists in this tournament so far. He's at center on this line. His brother Peter on one side, number 18. Back to the point. Endelbrink tries to get it over for Sundstrom once more. Now back to the point once again. And the Czechs managing to keep Sweden under control in this power play. 36 seconds left in the man advantage to Sweden. And they really haven't had a good opportunity. Patrick Sundstrom clears it around behind. Now it's back for Sundstrom. Back to the point now. Endelbrink over to the far side. And missing on that chance was Jan Lindholm as the Czechs come out. One man deep into the Swedish zone across the line. Now dumped simply to the center ice area where Haraba is back to claim it for Czechoslovakia. Ahead for Uvera. And Uvera takes a check and loses the puck. For Sweden, Eldebrink. Penalty is now over. Haraba back behind his own goal for the Czechs. Sundstrom trailing on the play. And they're jamming it along the boards, Howie. We haven't seen much hockey so far in this period.
Well, I would say let's penalize the Czech team for the remainder of the contest because there was more physical combat out there under the circumstances of trying to kill a power play. And they played extremely hard. There's a fella that I've got some admiration for. I've only seen him play 3 times, but that's Bukac, Larry Bukac, the Czechoslovakian coach. I just think he's got excellent attitude in the game. He really does. He's how to handle a team, and if he can get some effort out of him tonight, though, I'll admire him a lot more because so far his team hasn't put too much into it except when killing that penalty.
Here's Haraba for the Czechs behind his own goal. Waiting patiently back there. Finally ahead for Hrdina. And Hrdina losing it in the center ice zone. Now the Czechs reclaim there. Hasek. Hasek for Korbela. Across the line. And the Swedes standing up that time. This is place in number 29 for Team Sweden. Offside at the Czech line. And it looked like Eldebrink was the man in a little bit too early that time. Number 3. Very young team for Sweden. They're building for the future as well. They've got an average age of 24 years old, even including the NHLers. They've got on board veterans like Kent Nielsen, of course, the Calgary Flames. Long shot, almost mishandled by Schindel, but really no danger there. As the Czechs take it over in their own zone and start back. This is Vladimir Calder, number 19. Gets it across the line, and is checked has a check from him by Peter Anderson. For Team Sweden now, Håkan Loob waiting at his own line. Now to center ice for Kent Nielsen. Nielsen dropping it for Loob. 2 Calgary Flames teammates. And a careless pass there. Here's Thomas Dean right out in front. Had the shot, point-blank range, and Schindel stood up to him. Now, here comes Czechoslovakia. Yuri Lala going in all by himself and fired it wide as Valitello had the angle covered. Both goaltenders tonight have seen limited action in the Canada Cup. They're getting their opportunity against top-flight international competition. Schindel for the Czechs started the other night in London, Ontario, but failed to finish that game against Germany. Here's Sweden with an opportunity. That time working in was Eklund, and really didn't have a good scoring chance. Icing will be called against Czechoslovakia. Still scoreless at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. This is Canada Cup 84 on TSN.
Skimming the waves like a bird on a wing. Grab on tight, get a hold of that thing. We're up and away, trying to get through the blue. Keeping friends close, making the most of those blue sky days. And blue, smiles along with you. The taste keeps coming on through. That's blue, smiles along with you.
12 minutes and 31 seconds to play in the first period. It's Czechoslovakia and Sweden. Final game of the Canada Cup 84 round robin for both teams. And from the faceoff, Sweden controlling in the Czech zone, back to the line. A miscue there, it trickled out. It's Elderbrink, dumping it back in on the right side. And here's an opportunity going in, the shot that time from Hackinson. One more chance. Another shot, Hackinson, handled by Schindel. Back out in front, loose puck, backhand. And that's from the stick of Mats Naslund as Sweden has some pressure on now. To the point far side, Lindholm winds up. And Schindel is down to make the save. Finally, the Czech Steviana claims some order for Czechoslovakia behind its own blue line. Czechs start out once more. This is Kamish, and they're offside. Kamish and number 12, Lima, had problems at the Sweden blue line.
Well, I think Schindel just played extremely well. First of all, he made a great save with his left leg along the ice. I think this is it here. Well, that's the one that was up high. That was with his blocker. Then he comes again on a deflected shot right here. He fell down, but he still had all kinds of room up high, but it didn't quite get it high enough, and nothing on the short side as well. Schindel made 4 excellent saves there.
Saw him get the hook the other night in London after allowing 2 quick goals, Howie, against the Germans.
He looks a lot sharper tonight.
Certainly does.
He's big. Rear, very, very big. Very quick.
Harava, Miroslav Harava starts it out for Czechoslovakia. Long pass that time. Almost flicked to Lukács, number 29. Couldn't quite get through to grab it. Czechs in control in the Swedish zone now. It's out across the line as Kadlec couldn't keep it in for the Czechs. Back in once more. Tipped there by Spazil. And at the points, Harava gets a shot right on. And the save by Valitello. Liba. Back for Liba. Liba banks one in. Igor Liba in combination there with Spazil. Really looked like it trickled in off another stick.
Yes,
Liba taking the shot.
It certainly did. It hit a Swedish stick in front of the net, but I'm there saying, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. He didn't shoot it there. Look, he made the little pass, and instead of backhanding it, he just gave it right back to him. A give and go, and it did hit the stick in front of the net and went between Valitello's legs. But they tic-tac-toe the puck around pretty good, and they certainly don't shoot from any position except where the puck has an excellent chance of going in. And sometimes that works for a goaltender.
Igor Liba. Assist number 22, Ladislav Spazil. And number 4, Miroslav Harava. The time, 8:58.
8:58 the time of the first goal. Igor Liba. And that's his second of this Canada Cup tournament. Czechs have the pressure on in the Swedish zone once more. Trying to clear it out in front. It's high and comes down to Pashak. Pashak can't control. Now, Corbela. And whistle down.
I'm going to ask the fellas downstairs to show us that goal again sometime, because I'm sure there was a Swedish player attacked Liba the first time when he made the pass, and all he did was turn away, and all he had to do was pick him up. All right, there's the first pass right here. Someone goes to him, and no, it had to be just a little bit before that, because that was the second time that he did handle the puck, and he just sort of flipped it, not too hard, and it hit the stick and went in.
Ruzicka at center ice for the Czechs. Won the draw. Fired wide that time by Steviana. Sweden regrouping behind its own line. Long pass to the center ice area. Goes all the way through. It was intended for Thomas Steen. And going back for Steviana for Czechoslovakia. Oh, big heavy hit on the far side. As the Czech went down, that was... Now it's loose in the open ice area. Lala going in. Takes the shot. It's right on. Valitello stood his ground that time against Yuri Lala.
Well, prior to the opening of this series, we all were led to believe that number 17, Ruzika Vladimir, who was drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs, was going to be a great hockey player. Well, he's done absolutely nothing so far. He has no goals, no assists, and he's -5. So it looks like the Toronto Maple Leaf scouting system and drafting system are right up to par.
It's a little early in the season to be getting the shots in on the Leafs, isn't it, Howie?
Well, at least some of the guys that have been drafted by National Hockey League clubs look good. This guy just looks terrible. He looks afraid of his life out there.
Here come the Swedes this time. In across the Czech line. Played back. Intercepted by Klima. Here comes Klima going in all alone. Takes the shot and fired it right at Valitello once more. So that's 2 Czech chances fired right at the goaltender. Backhand shot. Valitello down to make the save. And a penalty coming up as indicated by referee Brian Lewis. Czechoslovakia leading Sweden 1-0 in period 1.
You're a whole new generation. You're loving what they do. I put a Pepsi in the motion. That's choice is up to you. Hey, you're the Pepsi generation. Cause I'm down and taste the fruit of the day. And feel the Pepsi way. You're a whole new generation.
Well, there's the young man sitting in the penalty box who just took himself a very, very foolish penalty. I think he was outskated along the boards by Klima. Klima walked in, had a pretty good shot at Valitello, and perhaps that had gone high. He might have put it in, but Lindholm was outskated and took it out by around a 2-minute penalty.
Spazil gets the draw for the Czechs. It's back for Leva. Leva, good move along the boards. As he tries to work himself out in front, it goes off a Swedish player, number 7, Bo Eriksson, and trickles to the feet of Valitello, who wisely held on that time. Checks all around.
The line you're looking at of Liba, Spazil, and Lukács are the only line that are on a plus, the only line that be doing anything defensively and offensively. And Liba has a goal, Spazil has 2, and Lukács has 2 goals, and they're all plus. It's an excellent line, and they can play and do play very well in the rough going.
Face off in the other circle in the Swedish zone. It's playing by the Swedes and dumped down the ice. Going after it, Musil, number 6 for Czechoslovakia. Leaving it in the center ice area, Musil for Liba. Now, in for Spazil. Spazil, a good hit just inside the line. Czech still control, though. This is Musil keeping it in. Liba over for Spazil. Spazil to the side of the net. Shoot the puck. He should have shot that one.
He shot the puck, John, to a fellow standing behind the goal line. Now, gee whiz, those give and goes aren't going to work all night long.
For Sweden, Peter Sundstrom in along the boards in the Czech zone. Sweden a man short right now on a slashing penalty to Lindholm. Still 58 seconds left in the Czech power play. And here they come to the line. Liba over for Ruzika. Ruzika has problems.
He wasn't going to go in there first. I'll tell you, he's got problems.
Kadlec goes back for the Czechs. 39 seconds left in the penalty now. Czechs have had a couple of chances, but nothing has really materialized. This is Lala, number 20, working around behind the goal. Back to the point. Harava. Harava on the near side now for Kadlec. Kadlec in for Lala. Lala gets the shot. And Harava can't keep it in for the Czechs at the line. This is Harava and his own line. Swedes changing on the go. Czechs tried to catch them in the midst of that change, but they're back in position now for Team Sweden. Ruzika for Czechoslovakia. Can't catch up to the play. This is Sandstrom. Shot right on, and Schindel looked a little shaky on that one, but it's not a difficult save to make. Steviana for the Czechs. Harava. Harava takes it back behind his own goal, and the penalty has now expired. Sweden back at full strength. Inside the line, Eklund claims a loose puck. And coming back to break up the play, Hrdina, number 24. Hrdina still has it across the line. Tried to work himself out in front. And he's being tightly checked, but he comes up with it again. Back to the point. And back in for Bela. Now Sweden. Led this time by Eklund, number 24 at center ice. And he's checked. Still came up with it, though. Eklund standing out in front. The backhand shot that time from Sandstrom, number 28. Czechs play it back behind the line and start out slowly. Then Yava, number 16. Klima, 12, and he loses it. Eriksson, now here's the man in the open. Lube was there, but offside was called against Team Sweden. Excellent chance, just missed.
Capture the atmosphere and excitement of being out catching the big ones on TSN's Fishing Hole. Friendly tips and information on how to get the most out of your fishing is all part of this outdoor show.
Going on down to the fishing hole, gonna take my bait, gonna take my pole, catch 'em on the left, catch 'em on the right, bring 'em on home when the day turns night.
Watch TSN's Fishing Hole and you may land the big one that always seems to get away.
Czechoslovakia leading Sweden 1-0 with 6 minutes 9 seconds to play in the first period. Czechs looking for their first victory in Canada Cup '84. And the Swedes have been a little sleepy out here in the early moments of the first period. This is Kadlitz. Left it there for Peter Klima. And Klima is down. Swedes in forechecking now. Controlling the Czech zone. Back to the point. Long shot. Vasil or Schindel really never had to make a save on that one. It ricocheted wide well before it got to the Czech goal. This is Eldebrink. Now Thomas Steen. Over on the left side into the middle for Håkan Lube. Lube couldn't control the pass. And across the Swedish line once more. Eldebrink going after it. Being followed by Rausel. Czechoslovakia. Swedes try a long pass far side for Kent Nielsen. Nielsen plays it neatly for Lube. Lube in across the line. And all of a sudden, 3 Czechs were all over him. This is Tellin. Now to Steen. Fired that one just wide. Thomas Steen from the point. Czechs into the center ice zone. Leave out there for Czechoslovakia, number 11 again. This is Nielsen, 14 for Sweden, in across the line. Nielsen bodied out of the play by Musil. Racing after it for Czechoslovakia. Vasil played it back. Liba couldn't make a play on it. Back to the point. Harava fires it well wide. Vasil. Back to the point once more. Ubera. And it's tangled up in a maze of players in front. Coming out to the Swedes now. This is Mats Naslund. The Czech line. Naslund can't get a shot away. It's cleared by Jaromir Schindel. Right out in front once more. Good chance there for Team Sweden. And another right here off the post. Fired there by Keelan. Lukács starts out for Czechoslovakia. Dumps it in across the Swedish line. And back for it is Eklund. Eklund ahead on the left side boards. And takes a return pass. Can't quite catch up to that one. Staviana breaking up the play for the Czechs. Lukács can't control. And Mats Naslund gets it in across the Czech line, but just barely. Out across the line once more. Naslund gets back on side. And for the Swedes, Sundstrom. That's Peter Sundstrom, 18. Cleared the line. And Czechoslovakia couldn't quite make that play work. Erdina was tied up along the board. This is Peter Sundstrom. Across the line and offside with Thomas Gradin that time. 1-0 Czechoslovakia leading Team Sweden. Canada Cup '84 continues.
I want Steve, Frank, Mario, Tommy, come on, Mike. I guess that leaves Albert. Hey, he's your kid, brother. You take him. Come on, Albert.
At Canadian Tire, we carry the best names in hockey. Bauer, Cooper, CCM. But we're just the beginning. How far you go depends on you.
Boy, I sure wish we had a guy like Albert.
Yeah.
Swedish defenseman Celine has a shot. He kept it along the ice. It just went on the outside of the post. I think it sort of hit something on the way there. It took a crazy hop, and had it not taken that crazy hop, it might have gone in. It certainly caught Schindel out of position on that shot.
3 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the first period. Puck in the Czech zone. This is Pashek, 21 for the Czechs. Out across the line to center ice. Swedes dig it out along the boards, but it's whistled down. This telecast is protected by copyright and is intended solely for the non-commercial entertainment of our viewing audience. Any use, reproduction, or distribution in whole or in part of the pictures or descriptions herein contained without the express written consent of the Sports Network is strictly prohibited.
That's my job, buddy. I'm the only guy that gets to read that, strictly through seniority.
You get the next one, Howie.
I don't mind the announcer doing it, but when they give it to you, bud, that's it.
All right, the Czechs, center ice, in across the line. That's Lala, number 20. He's a fine hockey player, Yuri Lala. Kept in at the point by Uvera. Lala can't take a pass from behind the goal, and Sweden reclaims. Starting back for Sweden. Clausen. Still a little sloppy in the opening period here. Neither team showing a great deal of desire. Schindel clearing it off the boards and to the line and outs. Vladimir Calder for Czechoslovakia to the line, and he's held up momentarily, losing the puck. This is Kent Nielsen. Nielsen losing it out in front. And Calder fired a loose puck well wide of the target. He was closely marked that time by Elderbrink. Clausen looking for Eklund. Center ice zone. It's all the way down into the Czech area now. Picked up by Kadlec. Kadlec to his own line for Kamish. And we got an elbowing call. Our first intermission tonight. We'll take you back to the sports desk and talk with Kent Nielsen here at the Pacific Coliseum, of course, from the Calgary Flames. And Roger Nielsen will have highlights, and it may be a little difficult to find them from that first period, Howie.
John, about a couple of times tonight you mentioned number 20, Lala, what a fine hockey player is. This is the third time we've seen him play, and the other two times we looked at him, I got got quick feet, can really skate, but I'll tell you, so far he has no goals, oh, look at that elbow. That's, we need a little more of that. Somebody gets mad at each other and run into each other. But Lala hasn't got a point so far in 4 games, and he's minus 3 or 4, so not only can't he score, he can't check either. All he can do is skate like.
But he skates very nicely, Howie. He looks very good out there.
He looks like a water bug darting here and darting there, but all he's doing is getting his team in trouble.
Arava for the Czechs, leaving it back behind his own line. And starting out for Czechoslovakia, Klima trying to pass in the right wing. It wasn't even close. Rousel trying to take it away from the Swedish player. Steen. Now, Czechs on the power play. Try and get something going here. Kamish, number 23. Working with Rousel. Here's Kamish going in neatly and scores. Vladimir Kamish. How about that? Made it look rather easy that time. And a 2-0 Czechoslovakian lead. Vladimir Kamish.
Just watch this. It somehow or other developed into a one-on-one. Kamish on the Swedish defenseman. Right here, he'll take the big wheel around and come right up through the middle. But just watch the fake he gives the defenseman. Watch him drop his head and look at the puck. Look, he played the puck, and oops, where'd he go? It just went in and took it from his backhand to his forehand and put it in the far side. Watch this move. He faked it the first time, and then the defenseman put his stick down, made the play. You committed the cardinal sin. You just look at that great big fellow in the red jersey, not at the puck at all. Don't watch his stick movement or anything like that. Just skate into him. It's a lot easier to get a guy, 6 foot, 200 pounds, than it is the puck. Great move, though.
It was a lovely move, and it's good for a 2-0 lead with 50 seconds to play in the first period.
You know, we could have real good second and third period because the Swedes can't afford to lose this game. They're in deep, deep trouble, unless they think maybe they got a better chance of beating the Russians than they have anybody else.
Well, I was talking to the coach, Lee Bork, just before the game, and he seemed to think it might be just as easy to beat the Russians in Canada as to line up against the Canadians and try and win 2 games from the Canadians which way he's got it figured. He didn't start his best goaltender tonight. He and Peter Lindmark. Checks on the attack now with 24 seconds to go. Liba to the far side for Lukács. And we got more penalties coming up here. Indications from Brian Lewis, the referee tonight. Ludi Bukac, head coach of the Czechoslovakian team. It'll be double penalties. Bo Eriksson, number 7, Team Sweden, and Svazil, number 22 of Czechoslovakia.
My God. You know, they're just sauntering la-di-da-di-da off the ice, and they don't want to play because they're going on the ice just as slow. Come on, guys, let's shake, rattle, and roll. Here are the penalties, and...
Penalties to Team Sweden, number 7, Bo Eriksson, 2 minutes for roughing. To Team CSSR, number 22, Ladislav Svazil, 2 minutes for roughing. The time, 19:41.
So the face-off will be in the Swedish zone. Gerdina, number 24 for the Czechs. At center for Team Czechoslovakia. Gets the draw, but it's out across the line. Picked up there by Harava. Harava circles and tried the left wing pass that time. Not quite for Bela. A lot of the play has been in the center ice zone. And not a completely inspired first period of hockey, but there's lots ahead and things to pick up.
Well, 2 excellent goals scored by the Czechoslovakian team, but I think both clubs now are going to have to start to shake, rattle, and roll, particularly the Swedish team, if they hope to come out of this with a win at all.
And so the score after 1 period in Vancouver. Czechoslovakia 2 and Sweden nothing. This is Canada Cup 84 on TSN.
When you buy a new car, you want to keep it looking new. And that's easy with Armor All Protectant. A scientific formula that took a polymer chemist 10 years to develop. It helps keep rubber, vinyl, leather, and plastic looking new. So even though you can't keep your car from getting old, you can keep it from looking old. Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic.
Here's something new, so you'd better look twice. Yes, it's Labatt's Light, and don't it look nice? You see the bottle's brand new, with a twist-off cap too. Still tastes light and so smooth, and it's looking so new. Yes, it's Labatt's Light.
From women's bodybuilding to the National Water Cannonball Championship and everything in between, TSN Sports World International is a potpourri of events. As you can see, we travel the world to provide you with coverage of unique and fascinating sports, ranging from the familiar to the less known.
After 1 period in Vancouver, Czechoslovakia leading Sweden 2-0, Canada Cup 84. Ken Nielsen of the Calgary Flames, a member of Team Sweden, is our first intermission guest. He's standing by downstairs. Ken, can you explain exactly what happened to Team Sweden in that first period? You looked a little sluggish out there. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, that's pretty true. We weren't ready to play, and we have to pick it up the next 2 periods if we're going to win this game.
As you look ahead to the second period, what do you think you really have to do to get back into this game? It seems like it's a pretty important game for Sweden. If you can come up with a victory, you might avoid the Soviets coming up in the first round of the semifinals.
I think we're going to get back to our game again and start to pick up our wings and go for the breaks that we did the other 2 games we won. And we got to concentrate more, and everybody have to play a little better.
I suppose you still look back to the victory over Canada as the highlight for Team Sweden in this Canada Cup.
Sure it is. We didn't expect to get 2 points there, but we were supposed to beat States, but the States are a pretty good team, and if we had a plan. If we lost to the States, we got to beat Russia or Canada, and we got 2 points from Canada.
Is it fun getting back and playing for a country team right now with gathering all the NHL players from Canada and heading back home to Sweden and going through a training camp and playing for the nation? Are you guys having a lot of fun?
Yeah, we have a good team. We got lots of good guys on the team, and I think everybody is proud to play for the country, and I'm going to play for the country as long as they want me to play.
How how long has Team Sweden been together? Have you had a pretty good run at getting organized and being able to play together?
Yeah, we started 22nd of July, and I've been home 2 days since.
All right, thank you very much to Ken Nielsen of the Calgary Flames and, of course, of Team Sweden. Roger Nielsen with highlights from the first period next. Canada Cup 84 on TSN continues after this.
It's been a tough season in the American League with the Blue Jays chasing those runaway Tigers. TSN will cover the Blue Jays through the end of the season with exclusive coverage of 4 games featuring Minnesota, New York, Detroit, and Milwaukee. Join Fergie Oliver and Bobby Maddock as we head down the home stretch. From coast to coast, Canadians are behind the Blue Jays, and TSN will put you right into the action with our exclusive coverage.
Was Gillette foamy thick enough and rich enough to restrain a rushing roller coaster? No. So we improved foamy, made it even thicker and richer. Now is improved foamy thick enough and rich enough?
No. But if you thought your foamy gave you clean clothes shaves, just wait till you see how much thicker and richer foamy is now.
Gillette Foamy Shave Cream. We made it even thicker and richer.
Soccer has a very special place on the TSN lineup. One of our regular weekly features will be All-Star Soccer. Each week's broadcast pits the best of the English League in top-class game action. Watch the match of the week exclusively on TSN's All-Star Soccer. Tonight is the final night of Canada Cup hockey preliminary round action. 3 games are being played. Of course, we're showing you the game between Czechoslovakia and Sweden, the one that the Czechs are leading by a score of 2-0. Later on tonight, Team Canada plays the Soviet Union in a very important game, and Germany is going to close out their part of the tournament with the United States. Is it very difficult for these guys to go at it tonight in Vancouver with nobody in the building?
Well, I think that's always trouble when there's no one there. But the Swedes, I mean, they're losing a great opportunity here. They've made a great comeback in this Canada Cup. They have been playing great hockey, and they can avoid the Russians, who they've lost or haven't won in 41 straight times. And you know, they frittered away in that first period, and I think they just didn't work hard enough.
Is it a lack of forechecking, or what's the story?
Well, if we want to look at the Swedes' forechecking system, what they've been doing the last 3 games in the series is sending 2 men in, and the third man, wherever he is on the play, always comes around and swings in behind. Now, that serves 2 purposes. It stops the Czechoslovakians from making long passes up, and you always have a third man back in case the Czechs do break out. And if we can go to the first replay, I think we can see this in action. Here's the play moving in now with Nielsen and Lube. Now, if we stop the play right there, now let it go in slow motion. We've got the 2 men in, and look at Thomas Steen. He has come way around the back to cut off the pass up the middle. And that is what the Swedes are doing, and that was perhaps their best chance of the period. But in order to make that work, you know, if you're going to make that play work, it relies on taking the man and a lot of hustle, and the Swedes haven't been doing that. They did it well on that one play, but that didn't happen that often in that period.
The Czechs, on the other hand, they scored the 2 goals. The first one coming early in the game, it was a pretty goal.
Well, it was strictly a breakdown on the part of the Swedes, and perhaps we could just diagram that one for you. Once you come into your own end and you're back checking, and you're a forward, the first man in has to realize he's the first man in, and he stays in and takes the man out. Then the other 2 defensemen look for a man and each take a man. But sometimes as a forward, if you're a winger, the center man, of course, comes in and backs up for you. But sometimes you might switch with them. And on a play here, we're going to see a bad giveaway, a blind giveaway by the Swedes, and then a real mix-up by Peter Sundstrom and Thomas Gerdine. Let's look at the replay now. So play comes in, Thielen just throws it up the boards, and of course it's intercepted, comes back in, Now, if we can slow the play down right now, Peter Sundstrom went at one man. Now he's chasing another. Now he ends up taking nobody. Thomas Gradine doesn't recognize the switch. And here's Liba wide open. And Thielen ended up tipping the puck by in his own net. But the Swedes are having breakdowns in their own end. And in the other end, they're not showing enough hustle. And they've got by now 3 games in a row playing excellent hockey. But tonight, they're not playing as sharp as they had been.
Vladimir Kamish scored the second Czechoslovakia goal late in the period, and it was a pretty goal, too. It was a good rush on the part of the young Czech. Does this tend to deflate a hockey team when they get them that late in the period?
Well, always. That's something you guard against. But he made a good deke, and he put it under the defender's stick. And anytime you can do that and get the defender leaning the wrong way, you've got a good chance for a goal.
Quickly, what does Sweden have to do to turn this thing around?
I think they've got to get more emotion into their forechecking, and they've got to play the man more in their own end.
Okay, Roger, thanks very much. Looking forward to the second period of play of the Canada Cup hockey tournament, and we'll continue with action right after this.
Pontiac 6000 STE, a special touring edition built to take on the world's best. Head of the Pontiac 6000 family of front-wheel drive coupes, sedans, and wagons, among 1984's best-selling mid-size cars. Pontiac builds excitement.
Welcome to Big Al, the copier king. So, you want reduction, enlargement, triple cassettes, feeder sorter? Right this way, my man. Watch that, you only want to spend how much?
Don't get talked into a big overpriced copier. Astor Meet a Man for Meet its 213 RE copier with big copier features at a very low price.
How about this, baby? Only used once by an 80-year-old secretary. Where you going? Nice hanky.
Mita, full-service copiers.
If you think boxing is tough, take a look at this. The action is always fast and furious on TSN's full-contact karate. As you can see, it's a sport that excels in quick thinking, timing, agility, and brute strength. Each week, the Professional Karate Association provides top-caliber opponents in what has become North America's fastest-growing ring sport.
Summarizing the first period of play here in Vancouver, a 2-0 lead for Czechoslovakia, who outshot the Swedes 9-8. Igor Liba gave the Czechs a 1-goal lead, his second of the Canada Cup, and then Kamish got the other goal at 19:05. Both were on power plays. The shots on goal once more. Sweden 9 and the Czechs 8. So a rather slow beginning to the first period of action. The teams are just coming onto the ice now. We'll have play underway here in the second period. A few fans of Sweden cheering them on, and they'll try and get back into this hockey game in period 2.
Oh, we know what, we know how. When we were born and we're born it now. So only the best will do. And the best is that Pepsi taste that keeps coming through. Come on, Pepsi now. You want the best taste. Come on and taste that best taste. Come on and make yours Pepsi now. Yeah.
John Wells with Howie Meeker back at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. We await the start of the second period of this Canada Cup match. Final game in the round robin for Sweden and for Czechoslovakia. The Swedes will move on to the semifinals. The Czechs are finished after tonight and looking for their first victory of the Canada Cup. Team Czechoslovakia. There's the head coach of Sweden, Leif Boork. His record is 2 wins and 2 losses for 4 points. Good for 4th place in the standings in the Canada Cup, right behind the United States and Canada, who will play later tonight. Canada against the Soviets, the United States against Germany.
You remember that old trick, or that old saying, the Swedes or anybody, when they don't check hard, could go in the corners with eggs in their pockets and not break them? Well, that Bork's team tonight could play out there with the flowers that they got in the lapel and not lose a pedal, I'll tell you.
Both teams going with their backup netminders for the game tonight. Valitello for Sweden and Schindel for Czechoslovakia. Valitello's first action in the Canada Cup. And Schindel started a game the other night in London, but failed to finish that one. So we had expected to see Peter Lindmark, who was so hot against Team Canada the other night, but I guess they're resting him for the semifinals. 2-0 Czechoslovakia leading Sweden. Play underway now in the second period. Lindholm plays it over on the far side. Now Liba working in for Czechoslovakia. Almost got it away. Here comes Sweden. Long pass on the left side. Thomas Steen in across the line. He's bodied off the puck as the Czechs start right back, led by Liba for Lukács. Lukács splits the defense. He went through impressively earlier in the game. He ends up in the nets. Czechs still control in the Swedish zone. Right out in front, Lukács was foiled that time by Valitello. Good save by the Swedish netminder. Here's Thomas Steen. Taken out of the play by Lukács. Liba in across the line once more. Can't control it there. As Lindholm takes over for Sweden once more. Both teams playing a man short. Here's Steen going right in. He had penalties just at the end of the first period. Czechs start back. Red play broken up quickly as Hrdina couldn't find any skating room. Now for Sweden. Play at the line fails to work. And picking it up for Czechoslovakia, Musil. Miroslav Musil over for Staviana. And this is Staviana starting out. Pass in the center ice area for Pashek. Pashek over for Musil, who gets a shot on. Neatly blocked by Valitello. Czechs moving in. Kadlec fired it well wide from the point. And trying to keep it in. He fails. Harava back to the center ice area to regroup. This is Kadlec for Harava. And Kadlec once more. Leaving it there for Hrdina. Hrdina circling around behind his own goal. Both teams back at full strength now as the Czechs move out. Harava. Pass the line. Broken up by the Swedes. Naslund can't get across the Czech line. And circling back, Hrdina. This is Hrdina at center ice. Trying to work around. Hrdina takes the shot well wide from a sharp angle. Kadlec keeping it in for the Czechs. Around behind his own goal, Bo Eriksson, number 7 for Sweden. Finally out across the Swedish line. Long pass here on the left side. Going in, Patrick Sundstrom dropped it back for Gradin, and Gradin got a bullet drive away. Here's Gradin. Claiming it in center ice. Sundstrom. Peter Sundstrom, number 18. Now for Gradin. Working right in, Sundstrom the shot. And Schindel the save. So action in the second period, picking up a little bit, Howie.
Certainly has. A few moments ago, you're looking there, Thomas, to Gradin. He plays for the Vancouver Canucks and plays center extremely well. He skates, just as good as anybody in the league. And one-on-one, he's shifty, but he just won't shoot the puck. And a few moments ago, he just shocked me because the puck was dropped back to him by Peter Sundstrom, and he let it go to the top of the circle. But he is not playing well tonight, John. I just can't remember you saying Thomas Gradin. I can't remember him handling the puck, and he's a great hockey player when he wants to be.
He hasn't been around it much so far this evening. Howie, you're right. Here's a chance for Czechoslovakia going right in. Rousel. And the save by Valitello. Rousel went in all by himself. Sweden starting out once more. Gradin taking a pass in across the line. Here's Gradin. Had it poked away at the last second. Lucille covering defensively on the play for Czechoslovakia. Back to the point. And the shot into a maze of players. Czechoslovakia once more starting back. This is Klima, number 12. Now over on the far side. Czechs in control. Back to the point. Musil the shots. And gloved neatly by Schindel, or by Valitello.
Well, come along, baby. Hold on, twist and going on. Yeah. Said, come along, baby. Hold on, twist and going on. Yeah. We missing. Whole lot of twisting going on. I said, twist it, baby, twist it. I said, twist it, baby, twist it. Ooh, twist it, baby, twist it. Come on, twist it, baby, twist it. Yeah, boo. All along with you.
Except for Valitello, the score quite easily easily could be 4-0 Czechoslovakia. A few moments ago, Lukács was in home free, and he just come up with a great save. And a minute ago, a great centering pass, a great lead pass to Rousel. And Rousel walked in home free, tried to go for the far side, and Valatello just stuck out the hand and made another big save.
23, Vladimir Kamish. 2 minutes for roughing. To Team Sweden, number 4, Jan Lindholm. 2 minutes for roughing. The time, 3:18.
Saw a close-up shot of Lindholm bleeding a little bit at the Swedish bench, but the penalties have now been assessed. Kamish and Lindholm, so 4 skaters aside.
And that highlight that was being played while they were announcing the penalties, it was Lukács one-on-one. The defenseman beat him cold turkey and was walking in home free. I thought there should have been a penalty because they pulled his feet from underneath him, and no penalty on the play.
Liba at center ice for Czechoslovakia, the face-off in the Swedish zone. Liba losing the draw, and the Swedes claiming it. Anderson, Peter Anderson, ahead quickly on the right side. As the Swedes start down, Steen can't take a pass. Thomas Steen now circling back at center. Good pass to get in across the line. It comes back to Steen. He fired, and it's off a stick and high amongst the spectators over the glass.
Well, Steen just made a great backhand pass to Håkan Loob, but Håkan Loob just was cutting into the middle, and he saw the big red jersey coming, and he just chickened right off the puck. Made no play at all. But that Thomas Steen, folks, if and when he wants to be, has all the skills to be a great player in the National Hockey League. I've seen him in Winnipeg over the last couple of years when certain nights that he comes to play, he could do it all.
Steen at center for Team Sweden, getting the draw back to the point. Now it's into the slot and claimed there for Czechoslovakia by Liba. This is Igor Liba. Still with the puck, Liba tries to get around the defense. He's taken down. And Sweden in control behind their own goal. 2-0 Czechoslovakia leading Sweden. As the Swedes move to the attack, Anderson long pass. It was offside. Intended for Sundstrom. Check that, Håkan Loob, number 12.
I'm not sure about that being offside. It made contact with the red player at center ice, or in the center ice area, and then I think you have to interpret that as that they passed the puck back in there and put the Swedish player onside. However, it was very close anyway. You look at it.
Still a minute 13 seconds left in the penalties. Both teams playing with 4 skaters. Sweden in across the line. This is Håkan Loob, can't get to it. Back to the point now, winding up. Selin over to the other side. Eriksson, Bo Eriksson has it go off a skate. Working out in front, backhand shot, they score! Sweden finally on the board. Atkinson, number 22. Went to the backhand, made it look nice.
Well, there was a scramble in front of the net, and everybody fishing for the puck and nobody taking anybody else. Atkinson just comes in, and there's the shot, the original shot. Now watch, everybody just goes and plays around with it. There's no bodily contact at all. He picks up the puck, takes it to his backhand, and lets it go, and I don't know, Schindel would like that shot back again. It went right between his legs. Not much on it, really. Just shot it at the net and found a hole between the legs. The good old 5-hole. We now have a 2-1 hockey game, and maybe that'll wake the Swedes up and they'll put a little more into this contest.
Atkinson.
Team Sweden goal.
4:24.
Number 22, Anders Håkansson. Assist number 7, Bo Eriksson. And number 26, Mats Neslund. Time 4:25.
Naslund drawing an assist on the play, of course, for the Montreal Canadiens. A regular performer, Mats Naslund, going right in. Sweden, the shot, and Schindel. The save once more. That was Peter Anderson, 19, walking in alone. Here come the Czechs, led this time by Yuri Lala, number 20. Lala leaving it at the line. This is Staviana. Staviana trying to work around the defense, gets it out in front, and it's cleared by the Swedes. Czechs still have the pressure on. Staviana to Lala, and it was gloved ahead.
Well, you know, you continually hear from Canadians and Canadians who play and witness a lot of European hockey that no matter how skilled the Europeans are, they don't like to get hit. They don't like to be hit. I can certainly see that when they do come over here and there is excessive bodily contact, well, they're a little reluctant to get involved because really it's not their type of hockey.
Well, we saw the Czechs go at it with Germany the other night.
Oh.
Howie. They didn't back away from anything on that particular night. In fact, 2 players were banished from the game, including number 4, Miroslav Harava.
Well,
Czechoslovakia.
That was North American hockey played at its very best with a tremendously high skill level. I thought it was as entertaining game as I've ever seen played by 2 European teams and all kinds of American and Canadian teams as well. I'll tell you, an excellent hockey game, but they just don't do it consistently enough.
Clausen over on the far side for Thomas Sandstrom. Now to the center ice area, in across the line. This is Sandstrom going in, can't get the shot away. Harava was with him all the way and had him pretty neatly tied up. Back to the point. Lundholm takes the shot, almost deflected in behind the goaltender by Sandstrom, as Sweden has a little pressure on Czechoslovakia now. To the point, it's out though, and the Swedes have to head back to regroup. Edelbrink ahead into the center ice zone, and the Czechs claiming it there momentarily. Harava back behind his own line for Czechoslovakia. Over on the right side for Russell. And scrambly play in the center ice zone. No one taking clear advantage. Here's a chance for the Czechs. Klima in across the line. Can't get anywhere. And Sweden, led by Edelbrink, back behind his own goal, trying to regroup. Teams are back at full strength. Harava in behind the Czech goal. Shadowed closely by 2 Swedish players. Now it's back to the point and across the line. Edelbrink. Got a little out of position there. Couldn't keep it in for Sweden. Harava for Liba. And Liba tries the left side for Calder. Calder going right in.
He can really motor around the outside. Great burst of speed.
Good speed to the outside. Musil now for Czechoslovakia. In across the line. Centers it out in front. And Musil. Good play there. No one was there for the Czechs to help out. In behind the goal now. Lukács for Czechoslovakia. Taken out of the play by Tallinn. And it's held along the boards. Now it comes loose. Lukács. And Thomas Steen also in there to jam it up against the boards and hope for a face-off in the Swedish zone.
Now from Yardley, an aftershave for men who go for gold. It's very cool, very fresh, with a masculine fragrance that's very British and typically Yardley. If you want an aftershave that's a winner, think Yardley and go for gold.
12 minutes, 49 seconds to play in the second period. The Czechs leading the Swedes 2-1. Czechs had a 2-goal lead after the first period, 2-0. But the Swedes came back and scored. It's 2-1 right now. Kept in at the line by Nielsen for Team Sweden. Now, here's Nielsen working against the Czechs. Czechs right back in. Hrdina, 24. Now for Sweden. Bo Eriksson. Team Sweden out with Nielsen. In behind the Czech defense. Couldn't take the pass that time. This is Håkan Loob for Sweden. Loob controlling in right out in front. Scores 16. Håkan Loob set it out beautifully. Thomas Steen has evened the count.
Well, you have to give all the credit for that goal to Håkan Loob. Steen was sure in the slot and home free, and one time they did perfectly. But Håkan Loob was the fellow that went into the corner, retrieved the puck, and hung on to it long enough to spot Steen in front. Just look at come out of the corner. All that Czech player had to do was skate into him, and that was all over. But nope, he preferred not to skate into him at all, and Loob put it right on the stick. Watch this pass. And you got to, again, you have to give Steen credit because he unchecked himself. So we have a 2-2 hockey game here, and you never can tell.
Czechs came into the second period with a 2-goal lead. It's all even now. This is Eklund. Eklund going to the backhand. Back to the point. Fired quickly by Anderson. Number 19.
Team Sweden goal scored by number 21, Thomas Steen, his second of the Canada Cup. Assist number 12, Håkan
Sweden
Loob.
still having
number 2, Matt.
their way in the Czech zone. Mats Naslund.
49.
Now the Czechs take over. Musil to the blue line and outs. In across the Swedish line. Peter Anderson breaks it up and starts back for the Swedes. Here's another opportunity for Team Sweden working right in. That time was Hackinson. He has a goal so far for Sweden tonight. Long lead pass going the other way now. This time Ruzicka. Ruzicka dropping it back for Lala. Perfectly played right in. And that time Klima was foiled by Balotelli. Good opportunity for the Czechs right there as Klima went in. Nicely set up.
Well, you'll never see the puck passed any better than this. That's Sep.10 Ruzicka. That's the first intelligent play that I've seen him make in 3 games. A good pass to the trailer. Now watch this pass right here to Klima, and I'm sure it hit the end of the stick. He had it high where it should have been. Oh, it hit him right in the face mask. How about that? But great, great passing play. Klima going in home free here. Goaltender comes across Schindel and gets hit right on the nose.
From the face-off, Rousel fires it wide for the Czechs. They still control in the Swedish zone. Now backboard for Sweden. Eldebrink, number 3. Eldebrink for Patrick Sundstrom on the right side. All the way down the ice now. And the race is on. It was Gradin coming up with it for Sweden. Swedes in control in the Czech zone right now. Sundstrom along the boards, can't keep it in. Loose in the center ice area. And picked up by Rousel. Rousel can't get it across the Swedish line and plays it back for Haraba. Haraba gets it back again for Rousel. Rousel back in front of his own goal. For Stevjana. Stevjana now has to face 2 Swedish players in there. And the Czechs come up with it. Up with it. This is Klima, center ice area. Klima across the line. Dumping it back. And Stevjana had a chance at it. Now it's Gradin. Flips it to the center ice zone. And tempers flare just a little bit as Sundstrom down there, Patrick Sundstrom, number 17, took exception with something one of the Czech players did or said.
Well, we're going to look at number 3, Anders Eldebrink. He played here in Vancouver for quite some time. You know, he's got immense skills. He can skate, he can handle the puck, he can make plays, he kills penalties, he's good on the point. But you know, he's just not a winning hockey player. He won't make anything happen. He won't play extremely well in the crowd. He won't put his head down and go into all the muck and take a hit and make a play. But you make it freewheeling, wide open, and not too much hitting. He's got skills, and I'm surprised the Vancouver team stayed with him as long as they did. He was a favorite of Roger Nielsen. He really was.
In the Swedish zone. Liba can't quite get it. Tangled up in his skates now. Comes up with the puck once more. Keeps it in. Good play by Liba to keep it in across the Swedish line. Right out in front for Liba once more. And a nice pass play that time by Spazio. Liba really in a little bit too deep to take advantage of it. Back behind the Czech line now. It's Ubera. Leaving it for Kemish. Spazio gets the shot. Handled easily by Balotelli. Out in front. No Czech players around. Lukács for Czechoslovakia, number 29. And now Liba. Liba back to the point. Just kept in by Kadlec. Shot blocked by Bo Eriksson, number 7, out in front once more. And the Czechs close there. Thomas Sandstrom across the line into the Czech zone for Sweden. He's upended. 2-2 hockey game. 8 minutes, 36 seconds to play in the second period. The Czechs on the attack once more. Ubera gets it across the line. It's whistled down. Shots on goal at this stage of the period for Sweden 6, and for Czechoslovakia 6. It's all even on the scoreboard as well.
TSN takes you right down to ringside with Top Rank Boxing. Watch exciting live coverage from Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and various centers throughout the U.S. Top Rank features new hopefuls as well as the more established fighters as they meet head-to-head in tough, bone-jarring bouts. Thursday night is fight night. Be there when the bell rings.
2-2 hockey game. Midway through the second period here in Vancouver. And from the face-off, it's back into the Swedish zone. Racing after it for Czechoslovakia, Pasek. He can't come up with it. Now clear to the center ice zone. And the play broken up by Cantlets for Czechoslovakia, who sends Herdina in on the right side. And once again flipped out by Sweden. Lucille tries it once more into the Swedish zone. Peter Anderson, number 19. Anderson around on the boards to the points, and it's out across Cantlet's stick and going all the way down. Not quite far enough, though, for an icing call as Lucille regroups for Czechoslovakia. Lucille at center ice, in at the blue line now. Lucille working around the defense, and he's taken out of the play by Eldebrink. Eldebrink ends up on the ice, and is he hurt, Howie? I think he might be shaken up a little bit.
Look, if he's hurt, shaken up a little bit, it was falling from the time he left his feet. Big Lucille just waved his stick at him. I'm not even sure he hit him, but if he did, it was in the back of the legs, and he'll take a dive as quick as anybody I've ever seen play hurt. But I'm very, very enthused about that big number 6 in red, Lucille. He plays defense, the left side. He handles the puck extremely well. He can skate, he can make some plays, and when the going gets tough, he can dish it out. Eldebrink did give him a little dart as he took the puck away from him. He turned around and swung his stick at him, but I'm sure it didn't make contact. If it did, it wouldn't have broken an egg.
From the face-off, Ruzicka had a shot fired at well wide. Center ice zone once more, Horava working against number 22, Atkinson. Czech trying to break out of their own zone. That's Stevjana, number 16, and Atkinson is all over Stevjana. Now for Sweden, Mats Naslund. Back to the point, the shot right on. And Schindel really not tested much on that one. Horava around behind his own goal. For Calder, number 19 for the Czechs. Sweden bunching the Czechs up rather convincingly in their own zone as they circle back once more. Calder still with the puck. Now, over to the left side. This is Lala, number 20. Lala working to the net, takes the shot. He's right on, and the rebound. 2 good saves by Valitelio. First save really not tested, but he had to be sharp on the rebound. Czechs right back to the Swedish line, going in 2-on-1. And one fancy dance play too many is Kamish. Didn't even get a shot away. Lala along the boards for Czechoslovakia, kicked in by Uvera, and quickly taken out by Sweden once more. This is Peter Sundström. Ahead for Gradin. Gradin on the left side, right out in front. Loose puck there. Sweden couldn't get a good shot on goal. And a Czech player goes sliding to the ice. No penalty is called. Sweden trying to gain control in the neutral zone. This is Gradin. Now Sundström. This is Peter Sundström. Kamish for Czechoslovakia. And a penalty coming up. As witnessed by referee Brian Lewis. We'll check it out for you when we return.
Ask us about CN. All 150 of us. We're all here because you helped to modernize our dockyard. Built a machine to lift ships out of the water so we can work on them. A vote of confidence. Without it, we might not be here. Ask us in Newfoundland, CN. We know who you're in business for.
Well, we had 3 dives just like this prior to this one, and would you believe that? And finally, I guess the official said, hey, 3 in a row. Sweden's not going to take the hint, and I think you have to give the Czechs credit for not giving up on the dives. But anyways, there's a power play now for the Big Red Machine. Let's see if they can do something.
See if the Big Red Machine can take the lead. The Czechoslovakian national team had a 2-0 lead after 1 period. It's now a 2-2 hockey game. Czechs on the power play. Uvera around behind his own goal, still has it. Eduard Uvera to his own line for Igor Liba. Liba center ice. Plays it over on the left side for Musil. Musil a shot. And blocked by Valitelio.
The sleek new Canon T70 puts the accuracy of a computer into every shot automatically. The multi-program Canon T70, like Gretzky, it makes the great shots simple.
5 minutes and 32 seconds left in the second period in Vancouver. There you see Uta Balotelli. He had not played a minute in this Canada Cup until he dressed for this evening's game and started. Peter Lindmark has been the regular netminder for Team Sweden here in Canada at the Cup in 1984. And we expect Lindmark will be in action when the semifinals get underway. Czechs start back from behind their own goal. This is Calder, the team captain. Now to Lala, number 20. Lala to the line and across. Takes a return pass. Lala back right out in front. Oh, glorious scoring opportunity for Ruzicka if he could have fired the puck. Thomas Steen is down in the center ice zone. Czechs are on the power play. Ruzicka back to the points. Huvera over on the far side for Staviana.
Can't understand them not shooting that puck when they get into a position where at least they're going to get it on the net, even if it is from way out.
This is Anderson for Sweden, and he's taken out by Staviana. Now Peter Klima for the Czechs, who really have not looked very good on this power play, except for one rush. Now just 25 seconds remaining in the penalty to Thomas Verdeen. 2-2 hockey game in Vancouver. This is Rousel back to the points. The Czechs can't keep it in. Staviana has it hop over his stick. Back behind their own line to regroup. Czechoslovakia. Rousel now. Rousel can't get across the line. Swedish defense standing up impressively at their own blue line. Penalty has now expired. And really only one chance for Czechoslovakia during the manpower advantage. Uvera, number 7. Looking in the center ice zone for Rousel. Rousel gets it in across the line. Going after it for the Czechs, Kamish. But the Swedes send it to the center ice zone once more. Stolen now by Eklund. Eklund in across the line. Czechs regroup and get the puck back once more. At the line, it's out off the skates. This is Eklund. Per-Erik Eklund. 3 minutes, 19 seconds to play in the second period. Lindholm tries a long pass. Now the Czechs moving in. And no chance that time for Klima, who had one man to beat. Couldn't get around the defender. Back to the point now. Spazil. Check that. Staviana fired into a maze of Swedish and Czechoslovakian players. Sweden starts back. Over on the right side, just in across the line. Naslund had a chance, decided to head to the bench. For the Czechs, Hrdina. In along the boards. And loose in the center ice zone. Picked up by Thelin for Sweden. Scrambly hockey right now as it's cleared back into the Swedish zone. Sundstrom. That's Patrick Sundstrom, 17 back for it. Harava claims a loose puck in the neutral area. And neither team getting very far with it. They floated right down once more, Howie. To the line. And the Czech player, Hasek, put himself offside. It's a 2-2 hockey game in Vancouver. More in a moment.
There's a time we all know when everyone does the best. Everything comes together. You leave all the rest. You're number one at what you do. Number one at this spot for you.
Budweiser with the clean, smooth Beechwood Age taste that's made it #1, the world's most popular beer.
In all you do, this spot's for you.
Well, here's a fellow supposedly on his way to the National Hockey League. You think he belongs to Calgary, Hrdina. He sure did attack the Swedish puck carrier, Eriksson.
Czechoslovakia back behind its own line, trying to get things going here. The Czechs had a 2-0 lead. Coming into this period, they're now even at 2. This is Igor Liba. Liba to the line and neatly cleared out by Sweden. Now Lukács will try it for Czechoslovakia. In across the line. This is Lukács. And he's ridden out of the play, but gets it cleared out in front. It was Kent Nielsen claiming it for Team Sweden. Now Liba has it once more for the Czechs. Long pass on the right side. Too far for Spazil. And we have a mix-up. Hakan Lube and Musil are a little angry at each other. Howie, did you see something trailing on the play?
Yes, I did. I just happened to watch the two fellas when they came together, and Lube, I think, sort of kicked, and Musil didn't want any part of it, and as he was getting up, he just reached down and popped him right in the nose. That's that big fella I was talking about a little while ago. I just think he'd be a great defenseman in the National Hockey League. He's just mean enough and tough enough and skilled enough to play exciting hockey. Okay, let's take a look at it here. It's Lube with the puck, and the big guy just goes in, and look, it just takes him here. Now they both will fall, I'm sure, down to the ice, and there's Lube giving him sort of a knee in the face, and Musil comes back with a punch.
So the penalties, Musil and Lube, with 1 minute 31 seconds to play in the second period.
Brandacek, Musil, 2 minutes each for
and coming up in the intermission, Sports Desk from Toronto. We'll also talk to Bruce Hood, a former National Hockey League referee and veteran of these international contests. He had worked the last 2 Canada Cup contests as well. We'll have highlights with Roger Nielsen.
I would have to say, if you pick the best hockey player so far in this period for Czechoslovakia, it's your number 20, Lala. He's a great skater, there's no doubt about it. He's gone around the outside a couple of times and had shots in the net, made plays that could have resulted in goal. He's been, I would think, head and shoulders the best skater for the Czechoslovakia team in this period.
With the penalties, Musil and Lube off, 4 skaters aside into the final minute 19 seconds of the second period. 2-2 hockey game. Starting out, claiming it for the Czechs, Calder. Calder over for Lala. Lala can't find it on a pass from Calder, and Naslund. Mats Naslund takes over for Sweden. His own line, center ice, still with the puck. Naslund over on the right side. Naslund played it for Eldebrink. Eldebrink now losing it to Uvera. This is Staviana. Staviana to the side of his own goal. Naslund in there creating some problems for the Czechs. Back to the point. Big shot just wide, fired by Lindholm. And Sweden keeping the Czechs bottled up in their own zone with 32 seconds to play in the second period. Uvera, number 7 for Czechoslovakia. Nowhere to go. He circles back. Now pass to Lala, and he's just coming off the ice. Fresh troops for the Czechs with 19 seconds left in the second period. 2-2 hockey game. Uvera behind his own goal. Over on the left side for Hrdina. And the Swedes bring it right back in. This is Sundstrom. Patrick Sundstrom. Back to Sundstrom behind the Czech goal, and that'll do it for period number 2. A little more spirited display, Howie, but I don't think either team really has its heart in this hockey game so far.
Well, I have to agree with you, sadly, but if I was the Vancouver Canucks, I would be very worried about the performance of Patrick Sundstrom. I just don't think he's got any hop, not coming close to showing the tremendous form he had last year in the National Hockey League, particularly in the playoffs against Calgary. He's a good hockey player, but he's terrible out here tonight.
So the score after 2 periods of play in Vancouver is Sweden 2 and Czechoslovakia 2. This is Canada Cup 84 on TSN.
Pontiac 2000 Sunbird. Unleash its fuel-injected turbo power, offering more turbo models than any other car line in Canada. Pontiac 2000 Sunbird. Eats straightaways, flattens curves, accelerates the senses. Pontiac builds excitement.
Good work, Williams. Now get me those copies right away. Where are my copies, Williams?
Does your copier let you down when you need it most? Then you need a Mita copier with dependable operation and fast service from your Mita man.
Williams, I'm waiting.
They told me it was working, but it wasn't working. No, I'm not working.
Mita, full-service copiers.
From women's bodybuilding to the National Water Cannonball Championship and everything in between, TSN Sports World International is a potpourri of events. As you can see, we travel the world to provide you with coverage of unique and fascinating sports, ranging from the familiar to the less known. One of two games underway in the Canada Cup hockey tournament tonight. Czechoslovakia and Sweden are tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play. West Germany and the United States are also tied at 2 in the second period. Canada and the Soviets go at it later on tonight. That is a late start. 2 goals in the second period by Sweden, almost a reversal of the first period where they really didn't do anything at all, but it's the Czechs that sort of had the layoff in this period.
Yeah, they're taking turns of being out to lunch. The interesting part, it's a typical European style of hockey. There's very little body contact, accidental as much as anything, but the stick work, if you watch, it's unbelievable how hard they hit with those sticks when they're checking. I was in Russia a few years ago and did a series there, and the play seemed to go on like for 10 minutes at a time because they'd keep the puck in play, they would pass, and with that bigger ice surface, there's lots of room to move around. As a referee, you can kind of just stand back on the sideboards and watch. You don't have to be as up on top of the play as much as you do in our game with the amount of hitting that goes on in the corner and in front of the net. I don't think, nearly as exciting as our game. Maybe they do have some more talented hockey players. I don't know. That's subject to question with these two.
This being, like you say, a typical European style of hockey game with a lot of skating and the stick work, does the stick work make it more difficult on the referee to call the game the way it should be called?
Well, it does, but they're used to that. They're used to those hard chops on the legs, and they're used to the firmness. Those players are so strong in the upper body that when they go to check, they know that they're going to get it good well. And they accept it. That's the one thing that the Europeans do. It's like the curved stick. They've all got sticks that have a more exaggerated curve than they're allowed, but they kind of, we're not going to check you if you don't check us in regards to the measurement of sticks.
Let's just score a lot of goals type of thing.
That's right.
The other night we were talking about the possibility of pros playing in the Olympics in 1988. After that conversation, a caller phoned in and said, listen, Calgary has the capacity to make the ice at the Olympic Saddledome international size, and it's going to be for the Olympics. Now, the new rink that's going in Hamilton, Ontario, is also going to be expandable to international ice size. So do you think it could be conceivable that when these two buildings are ready, that the Canada Cup could be played in 2 locations? Because Hamilton, I mean, it's only 40 miles outside of Toronto. It could be, quote, a media center, and you could still attract it. Could it be that the Canada Cup in future days might conceivably be played on international ice rinks only?
That's true. Actually, the only time it isn't is when it, of course, comes to North America. It's something they could work on over the next few years with the Calgary rink. I know they had the international, or our Olympic team working out there on the larger ice surface to get used to going over before they went to Europe. So let's hope they do it.
Ironically, one of the problems that the Olympic team had prior to going to Europe, the people in Calgary, when they built the arena, didn't realize it was going to take so long to expand the ice rink. They literally physically had to remove a number of rows of seats, reflood the ice, take the old ice out, put down new ice, and put up new boards and all the rest. So it was literally a 2-day operation before they got the ice to regular size. So it's an interesting concept to see if that would
It is. I think it would really change our game, our Canadian game, because one thing about with our game, the hitting that takes place, you have to catch a player before you can hit him. With that bigger ice surface, that takes a lot of extra effort to get there. So I doubt that it'll come into our game.
Okay, Bruce, thanks very much. We're going to catch Roger Nielsen in a few minutes and have his highlights from the second period of play. Canada Cup tournament resumes right after this. The break starts the game. But on TSN's legendary pocket billiards, the game is played by the best. Names like Minnesota Fats, Willie Mosconi, Luther Lassiter, plus an amazing 33 world champions will compete playing 8 and 9 ball as well as straight pool. Legendary pocket billiards travels to Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and New York to pit these masters of the game against each other in a contest of skill and accuracy.
We know you, Blue Nose. New at an old trade with your tourists and your trucks that come and go. We know you make a profit. Well, that's your business. And who begrudges you? For you'll have nights alone there with the wave hiss and the wind scream and wiser folk like us lie listening to the gale kicking an empty can around the yard. We know business for.
TSN takes you back in time and invites you to relive legendary boxing matchups on Super Bouts. Muhammad Ali, Smoke and Joe Frazier, Roberto Duran, and Marvelous Marvin Hagler are only a few of the great fighters you'll see. Title fights from the 70s and 80s featuring some of the greatest moments from professional boxing history. Super Bouts is super entertainment on TSN.
2-0, or actually it's 2-all after 2 periods of play. We've played 40 minutes from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. Roger Nielsen is back with us again. A period that the Swedes took over the play, a little more intensity, would you say?
Yeah, I don't very often agree with Bruce Hood. Never did, but he was right. When you don't take the man, the intensity in the game is missing, and neither team's taking the man tonight, and it's a very dull game to watch, and the reason is because the intensity just isn't there.
You would think that the Swedes would want to have that intensity heading into the playoffs because there's a very good chance that they'll have to play the Soviets.
You would think so, and they did work a little harder that period, and that period was a little more wide open because I think the Swedes did try to press a little more. We'll show you one kind of interesting play of the Czechs that started from a face-off here, and if we could just set up the way the Czechs were lining up on the face-off, I believe the Swedes were in this situation. And this job's man as a winger, of course, is to go through here. And the center man must stay with the center. Now, Patrick Sundstrom, I believe, was centering, and realizing this, he tried to force the play right through here and maybe catch everybody moving the wrong way. But the Czechoslovakian center realized it, went back, got the puck, and this player, you'll see him, came right up. And of course, the Czechs, with their great passing, this man realized what was happening right away. He got a pass across, stepped over the blue line, and made a play which caught the Swedish defense flat-footed. But let's look at this excellent Czech passing play. There it is from the face-off. You can just see the winger starting to break now. There's the center man with a little pass. Now look at this pass. Beauty, right in. And it was a great play and a very good save by the Swedish goalie, who was playing a good game tonight.
He is playing well. That's one indication there, and probably the score could have been different if it hadn't been for him in that second period.
That's right.
What about our second replay? What have you got for us, Ryan?
Well, the Swedes were working a little harder that period, and they made a very good play. We can go back. I'd like to use the whole board this time, so maybe if our cameraman could come up top. And the Swedes recovered the puck here, and of course the Czechs were trying to flood the zone forechecking, and they made a good play, a reverse play. And from there, they started the puck up, and the Swedish defenseman saw a man breaking. And so he put the long pass, took a chance on icing, put it off the boards. And of course, this is a play that Calgary do often, and Lube went in, got the puck here, and got it back out to Thomas Steen, who one-timed it into the net. We'll also see here what we were saying about not taking the man, because Uvera, I think he's number 7 for the Czechs, completely missed the check on Lube. But let's go to the tape and watch this Swedish play. Here's the reverse coming up right now. Good play, caught the Czechs going the other way. Let's slow it down now. And there's the icing play in which the Swedes, both of them were ahead of the Czechs. Now look at this defenseman turn away. I mean, that's awful. I mean, he shouldn't see the ice again after a play like that. But it was a good play by the Swedes, and they were full value for that goal.
Okay, Roger, thanks very much. 2-2 after 2 periods of play, and we'll get to the third period right after this.
Feel free in the wind. Smile with the day. The taste comes shining through. So keep on smiling. 'Cause when you're smiling, love smiles along with you.
Buick Century, a highly evolved front-wheel drive world-class family car. Century's suspension is fine-tuned by computer, its shape refined in the wind tunnel, its performance enhanced by fuel injection. Yet underneath all this technology, Century remains inherently human. Nowhere more evident than in the new Century wagon.
First period to the Czechs. Second period was all Sweden with 2 goals to tie things up. Hackinson from Eriksson and Naslund at 4:35. Then Thomas Steen at 7:49 from Lube. The Czechs out shooting Sweden 11-7 in the second period for a 19-16 overall total favoring Czechoslovakia. So we head into period number 3, all even at 2. And maybe the Swedes will catch fire here early in the third period. What do you think, Howie?
Well, let's hope so. They have all the artillery to catch fire. They could really make things happen. They're an excellent hockey club when they're going all out, and that's just amazing to me how most of their players, particularly their forwards, come over here into Canada and the United States and play with so much intensity, and most of the time play with intensity, and most of them do, most of the time. But tonight they just seem to be a little reluctant to get involved, and when this game is all over, I'm going to, and I bump into Brian Lewis, I'm going to ask him his interpretation of roughing, because 7 of the penalties so far have been for roughing, and I haven't seen a rough act out there yet.
From the face-off, it's back to the Czech line. Uvera, number 7, clears it across ice. Uvera up with it once more. Around behind his own goal and plays it back there. 4 skaters aside with 11 seconds left in the penalties to Musil and Lube. Didn't be much of a factor here in the early moments of this period at all. Liba for Czechoslovakia. Back to his own line. Penalties have now expired. Liba for Lukács. He couldn't catch up with it. Sweden reclaiming the puck in its own zone. Long pass on the left side goes too far for Kent Nielsen. And this is Harava for the Czechs leading the attack. Harava at center ice. And his pass right off Spazil. Spazil chasing it in to the Swedish zone now. Slowed down a little bit and beaten the puck by Eldebrink out in front. And that time, Kadlec hit the side of the goal. Right out in front. That one off the post. Good opportunity for Czechoslovakia there. Sweden regrouping and trying to clear out of their own zone. Center ice area. Picked up by Kadlec for Harava. And all the way back into the Swedish territory once more. Hrdina. Hrdina cleared it out front and neatly cleared to the side by Hackinson. Scrambly beginning to period number 3. We're just into the second minute now. The third period. To the point, Kadlec keeps it in, and it's up and over the boards.
Well, a few moments ago, Spazil had an excellent opportunity to score a goal, but he created it all because when there was a race for the puck, he just used a little body English. He just took the Swedish player right off the puck. I think it'll come right out here. There's the race for it. He hit the post right dead center, and it bounced out. It had... All right, now here's a good shot right in the post. Lots of room for it to go in, and Team Sweden a little lucky.
This is Calder coming up with it for the Czechs. Shot right on. And Balotelio equal to the opportunity for Czechoslovakia. Czechs have had the advantage in scoring opportunities here early in the third period. Now for Sweden. Shot right on. That from Thelin. Thelin after it. Can't come up with it. Picked up by Staviana. For the Czechs, Swedes quickly to the attack once more in the Czech zone. This is Eklund. Eklund back to the point. Thelin plays it to the far side. And the shot by Eriksson is blocked. Here come the Czechs once more. This is Calder. Calder for Musil. He cleared it to the line. And Sweden. Naslund. Long pass on the left side. Goes too far for Eklund. Sweden in control in the Czech zone. Back to the point. Shot. Olin Sweden hanging on behind the Czech goal. Sundstrom. That's Peter Sundstrom, number 18. Czechs try to clear it out. It's right out in front. Getting set for the shot is Olin. Olin into the corner now. Gradin was there. And now a race for it as Sundstrom. That's Patrick Sundstrom. Wins it. There's going to be a penalty coming up against Czechoslovakia. Sundstrom carries on, getting set for the shot. And it was blocked by Schindel. He lost his balance trying to make the save. Sweden with a man extra attacker out there. The shot right on. Olin as the Czechs try and finally touch the puck on the delayed penalty call. So a power play coming up to Sweden. It's all even in the third.
When you buy a new car, you want to keep it looking new. And that's easy with Armor All Protectant. A scientific formula that took a polymer chemist 10 years to develop. It helps keep rubber, vinyl, leather, and plastic looking new. So even though you can't keep your car from getting old, you can keep it from looking old. Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic.
Here's the slashing penalty, but it's the first time I've seen Patrick Sundstrom go. Look at that, just stuck the hand out. Now watch him wheel. He just went down that wing, is skating as well as I've seen him skate for a long, long time. And had a pretty good shot on the net. Didn't make much of an attempt to score the goal, though. He had a little room on the far side and shot it right at the goaltender.
Peter Klima at 3:37, slashing. So we'll watch the Swedish power play at work. Lucille, number 6 for the Czechs, in along the boards as they jam it and hold it for another whistle.
Gee, look at that. There are 3 Czechoslovakian players right over in the corner, and the other one was outside the face-off spot. Nobody in 2/3 of the ice in front of the net except Swedish players.
Well, it is a young Czechoslovakian team building, they say, for 1988 in Calgary. I guess inexperience has been the biggest problem for the Czechs here at this Canada Cup tournament. From the point, Eldebrink fires wide. Swedes on the power play. Now the Czechs clear it out of their own zone. And Liba turned the wrong way for a pass from Lukács, so it goes all the way down into the Swedish zone. And the Swedes are moving quickly to the attack once more. This is Bo Eriksson. Now Thomas Eriksson. And this is Kent Nielsen, center ice. Nielsen with Hakanloob. Left it there for Loob. Loob dumped it back in for Nielsen. Nielsen scrapping with Musil. Now Nielsen gets it back to the point. Eldebrink winding up for the shot. And he's high and wide. Long lead pass coming up for Liba. And I guess he didn't see Liba. That was Daviana. Had Liba going in all alone and couldn't find him. Here's Thomas Steen for the Swedes. Hakanloob over for Steen. And the Czechs filling out this power play rather effectively. Just 45 seconds left in the manpower advantage to Team Sweden. Cleared out in front by Harava. Right on. That shot from Kadlets. 31 seconds left in the Swedish power play as Kent Nielsen skates to center ice. Nielsen plays it ahead for Eklund. Eklund going to the backhand. Around behind the goal. Back to the point. Winding up with a shot. It's right on. And the rebound. Atkinson was in front and couldn't claim the rebound from the Czech netminder, Schindel. Back down the ice with 9 seconds left in the power play. Final rush here for Bo Eriksson. Ahead to the line and in, but the Czechs will claim it. This is Musil around the boards, and Czechoslovakia back at full strength now. Here for the Czechs, Klima. Oh, he just slid it wide. Peter Klima had a glorious opportunity and just slid it wide. A Balotelio who was going the wrong way. Musil back behind his own goal for Czechoslovakia. All the way down the ice, and this will be icing called against the Czechs as it's touched by Peter Anderson. So it's all even. 13 minutes, 52 seconds to play in the third period.
Here's something new. you'd better look twice. Yes, it's Labatt's light, and don't it look nice? You see the bottle's brand new, with a twist-off cap too. Still tastes light and so smooth, and it's looking so new. Yes, it's Labatt's light.
Physical effort by Klima here trying to score a goal. It's just the way they've been playing all night long. He tried to get cute, just finesse it in the far side. He tried to take Valitelio with him and then slide it into the opening that he just vacated, and it just didn't work. But not a very good effort at scoring a goal.
Face off in the Czech zone, and they're jamming along the boards with it once more. Finally comes out in front. No Swedish players there. Haraba clears it neatly for Czechoslovakia. Now pass on the left side. And Kamish had problems hanging on. Sweden starting back with Patrick Sons from number 17. He lost it. Now the Czechs, Klima. Number 12 taken out. Haraba working it against Eriksson. Out in front. No one home. For the Czechs, Kamish, 23. At the line for Klima. Klima tapped it ahead for Kamish, and the Swedes take control once more. Here's Sundstrom going in, and Schindel, the goaltender, had to come all the way out. He flipped it all the way down the ice for Klima, crossing a couple of lines. So Schindel coming out to thwart the Swedish attempt that time.
Well, the Chicago Hockey Club are having a little bit of problem with their goaltending, and there's a youngster that they drafted the other day, Dominic Hasek, drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks. He's big, I'll tell you that, and when he moves lightning fast, and I was very impressed when I watched him play because he keeps that stick in the ice. He's not going to defeat himself. He's, I think, has NHL potential.
Here come the Czechs once more. This is Lukács. Lukács right in. Set up Liba beautifully. And Valitelio the save. Swedes start right back. And across the Czech line, and Lukács reclaims it for Czechoslovakia. Now Uvera losing it in the center ice area. Here come the Swedes. Long shot. Sandstrom. And it finishes up underneath Clausen of Sweden in the Czech zone. The face-off will be to the left.
Hey, we're seeing some great goaltending. Valitelio just a moment ago on Liba made a sensational save, and right down the other end, you get a repeat performance. Good goaltending. Exceptionally good.
And it's a 2-2 hockey game. There's the save by Jaromir Schindel.
He's good with that left leg. Watch this pass at the other end. Just look at there. There's no way in the world that Liba should have been able to beat that defenseman and walk in home free, but he did.
For the Czechs, Pasek trying to get it out in front. It's there, but Lukács can't control it. Center ice area. Haraba ahead for Korpela. His shot easily handled by Valitelio. Now Thomas Steen for the Swedes. And it's whistled down.
Offside, I think. I don't think there was a penalty called there, but both clubs have had exceptionally good scoring chances here in the last 5 minutes, and you'd almost think they want to play to a 2-2 tie.
11:45 to play, third period in Vancouver. There's Thomas Steen, whose regular job is with the Winnipeg Jets of the National Hockey League.
Sitting beside him was Kent Nielsen, who, gee whiz, the skills he has.
Here come the Swedes to the Czech line, offside.
And he hasn't made two good moves to demonstrate that he has any skills this evening, but I've seen him play some hockey, particularly at home in Calgary a couple of years ago, that was just outstanding. A tremendous entertainer at that time.
Sweden with a 2-2 record in this Canada Cup so far can improve to a winning record if they come up with a victory tonight. Czechoslovakia has one tie for 4 previous games and looking for their first victory of the Canada Cup. Czechs had a 4-4 draw with Germany in London, Ontario last Tuesday night.
Well, I still think the fella I would get excited about if I was a National Hockey League scout is that big left defenseman that we talked about before, number 6 in red, Musil.
Do you think we'll see Czechoslovakian players hanging around after this Canada Cup? There's some chatter of some defection, but I don't know if there's really much to it. They were talking about it today.
Who'd want them? I'm telling you, if any of these guys can play for a National Hockey League team, we're really in trouble.
Right out in front. At that time, the big captain, Calder, fired it just wide. Another opportunity for the Czechs, and they keep it in at the point. Now finally claimed by Thomas Olin for Sweden. Olin dumps it all the way down, and icing will be the call. No, it won't. It's waved off. Correction there. Musil starts out for Czechoslovakia. Loose in the center ice zone. Uvera working against Patrick Sundstrom. Into the corner. This is Steen. Or Thomas Gradin, rather, 23. For Sundstrom. Shot. Oh, big save. And another glorious opportunity for Sweden. Schindel coming up with one big save. It's 2-2, Sweden and Czechoslovakia. 10:29 to play, third period.
Tony Tanti, Jim Beplinski, Kevin Lowe, Rick Vine, Norm Rochefort, Dale Howardchuk, Guy Carbonneau. 7 pros racing against the clock. Who'll be the winner? If you select him, you can win one of 7 Chrysler lasers in Gillette's Super Skater Contest. So enter where you see this Gillette display and act fast.
Number 7, Uvera, gets a hooking penalty here, and it's a very, very foolish one to take because the puck obviously went to his own teammate. But on the other hand, I've got to go back. I would take Musil. I'd run a chance on him playing in the National Hockey League. Just watch this save. Watch him move out here. Look at, he comes out solid, sticking the ice, and just made a great, great glove save on the short side. I'd try that Schindel as well.
Oh, there it is, it's in. Just trickled across the line. It'll be a power play goal. But Schindel is not pleased about it, Howie. Just as we got back to the live action. So, Team Sweden into the lead.
Well, they probably put a hex on the guy. There's a deflected shot. He went to play it with his stick, and I guess he didn't have much of a chance on it, but he should have come out just as solid as he did on the shot just before that, where he played so exceptionally well. You just have to come out solid as a rock at your brawler, no holes between your legs, stick in the ice, and make a play, stay on your feet, and then have a second shot at that puck. It was a deflected shot, and I'm not sure it should have gone in.
Well, the Swedes into the lead on the goal by Thomas Gradin.
Team Sweden goal scored by number 23, Thomas Gradin, his first of the Canada Cup. Assisted by number 17, Patrick Sundstrom, and number 18, Peter Sundstrom. The time, 9:42.
So the Sundstrom brothers help out Thomas Gradin and give Sweden the lead for the first time all evening long. They trailed 2-0. Now they have a 3-2 lead.
Friends come together, ride the clear sky. Magic sailing into good times, waiting on the ground, and the taste keeps coming through. Love that's blue smiles along with you.
Penalties being awarded now. Liba and Klassen. That's Liba right there for the Czechs. Klassen for Team Sweden. High sticking and holding. So 4 skaters aside. Less than 10 minutes to play. Sweden in the lead for the first time on Czechoslovakia. Here come the Czechs. Down and racing after it is Liba, number 20. He's in there with Calder for checking. Czechs have not tasted victory in this Canada Cup. A big hit on Sandstrom in the neutral area. Czechs to the attack once more. This is Liba. Or Lala, I should say. Yuri Lala. Marova. Marova tries the right side. Now Calder bringing it to the line, and the Swedes stand up at the line.
Yeah, all four of them. They're going to try to carry it in. There's no way in the world, fellas. We got to shoot it in.
Lucille. Lucille finally across the Swedish line. Valatelio setting it up there. Now, Hockenlube on a pass from Kent Nielsen. Lube down the left side. Working right around the shots. And Schindel got a piece of it. Olin tries to clear it out of his own zone now. The Czechs. As Pashek controlled. Kept in by Musil. Kadlec for Czechoslovakia. Kadlec's falling in behind the Swedish net. And Lube claims it along the boards for Sweden. Starting out, Hockenlube. Over on the left side, long shot, Sundstrom. That was Peter Sundstrom that time. Cleared right to the center ice zone once more. This is Olin, number 10 for Sweden. 8 minutes, 2 seconds to play. Third period, Sweden in a 3-2 lead. Checks in across the line. Here's Lukács going right in. Oh, and a great save by Valatelio as Lukács walked right in. Kicked ahead by Stevjana for Czechoslovakia. Now cleared all the way down as Schindel comes out to set it up for Igor Liba. Musil in around behind his own goal. Stevjana, number 16 for the Czechs. Back for Musil. Musil for Spazil. Now for Lukács, and he was in a little early. 7:24 to play in the third period. Sweden in control of a 1-goal lead.
TSN presents exclusive coverage of the Canadian Water Skiing Championships from Lac des Nations, Sherbrooke, Quebec. It's an exciting showcase for Canada's best, featuring men and women competing in trick, slalom, and jumping events. The winners will travel to England to compete in the World Cup of Water Skiing, and TSN will be on hand providing exclusive coverage.
Just exploding down that wing. Watch the great move he puts on Kadlec. Look at that. Right, just pushed the puck by him, went around and picked it up and missed the far post. Now at the other end, that's Lukács in home free, and Valatelio just comes, slides the hand up the stick, makes the stick check, and takes away a good scoring chance.
Play in the center ice area. This is Calder, number 19 for Czechoslovakia, in across the Swedish line. Racing after it. Ruzicka, 17 for the Czechs. Loose puck claimed by Sweden. Steered to the boards. That's Lindholm, number 4 for Team Sweden. At center ice, Lundholm tried to find Naslund on the right side. Lundholm has it once more, winds up with a shot. Well wide of the target. Swedes keep it in. Atkinson. Now to the line, and the Czechs come out. Ruzicka is 17. Liba, Lala, number 20. That play failed to work, and Haraba back near his own line for Czechoslovakia.
In the past 2 years, over 170,000 kids have been awarded Esso Medals of Achievement. These minor hockey awards are just one of the many community programs that Esso supports across Canada. Because to Esso, it's a good, healthy way for youngsters to grow up and develop. And tonight, Esso is also pleased to provide the Player of the Game Award.
We're back for a face-off in the Czechoslovakian zone. The score, 3-2 Sweden. The time, 6:25 to play in the third period. San Pashek will take the draw for the Czechs. He gets it out across the line. And here's a good opportunity for Czechoslovakia. Hrdina going right in, takes the shot. And Valatelio stands his ground. Czechs down by a goal. They had a 2-0 lead. Here the Czechs moving out in front. Fired just wide of the target. Kept in for Czechoslovakia by Musil, 6. Hrdina working along the boards, trying to clear it out in front. Now it comes free for Czechoslovakia. Pashek against Bo Eriksson. Hrdina. And the Swedes cleared out once more. Whistle down as it was gloved ahead. Sweden has outshot Czechoslovakia 10-3 in the third period.
Well, number 24, Hrdina, just a few moments ago, it was a 2-on-1 break. Had a pretty good chance to score a goal, but I think he made the right play. He didn't pass the puck. He went in and tried to go high in the short side, but Valatelio just stood right there, and there was no room at all. He's a little bit disgusted with himself. He must have thought he had some room and just missed the opening.
Faceoff will be just outside the Czech line. Liba clears it ahead and now picks it up himself. Liba going in, trying to get around Anderson. For the Swedes. Eklund over on the right side for Olin. And Eklund has it once more in across the line, gets ready. Left it there. And Hareva has it for Czechoslovakia. In the corner, the Czechs in control. Lukács. Heavy hitting down along the boards in the Czech zone. Kept in by Olin for Sweden. Now it's to the line, out and all the way down the ice. 5:01 to play in period number 3, and icing called against Czechoslovakia. Sweden in the lead by a goal. It's 3-2 with time running out on the Czechs.
There's a time we all know when everyone does their best and everything comes together and you leave all the rest. You're number one. That's what you do. Number one. They fight for you.
Yeah, Budweiser with the distinctively clean, smooth Beechwood aged taste that's made it number 1, the world's most popular beer.
All you do is fight for you.
Thomas Gradin's goal at 9:42 of this period, the only scoring, and Sweden into a 3-2 lead on Czechoslovakia. Here the Swedes on the attack. Hakanlöv gets the shot away. Eldebrink tries once more. He's wide of the target. Here's Steen. Steen right out in front. Thomas Steen trying to set up Kent Nielsen, and Schindel is there for the Czechs.
Well, the more I watch that big number 6, Mosil, as you look at that Schindel, he's the defenseman I've been talking about. He just come out and blocked a shot, and he got it just above the shin pad where it hurts, above the knee, between the fiber and the felt, and he got right up, and there was a Swedish player with the puck beside the net, and instead of playing hurt, or even if he is hurt, he went and took him out. So I think he's a brave fellow to add to all his skills.
Face off in the Czech zone. Steen can't get the draw for the Swedes. It's down the ice. Racing after it for Sweden. Lindholm, and he gets there. 4:33 to play, third period. Canada and the Soviets later tonight in Edmonton. Canada Cup 84 continues. That will be the final game of the round-robin tournament. Currently, the Soviets are in control of a 3-point lead. They can't finish any worse than first place, no matter what happens tonight in Edmonton. Canada and the United States, 5 points and similar records, and Sweden with 4 points. They can move temporarily ahead of the United States and Canada in the standings with victory here tonight. Sweden applying pressure right out in front. That was Hakanlöv, and he had it poked away at the last second by Schindel. Czechs start back. This is for Bela. Back to the points. And Sweden back in control. Thomas Steen. Long pass on the left wing. Czechs once more to the attack. This is Pashek, number 21. For Bela, 26. And Sweden with Hakanlöv taking over. The Swedes start out across their own line. Hakanlöv couldn't take a pass in the center ice area. And they'll change it up. Whistle down.
I think the other two people that might excite me if I was an NHL coach, and I just said this a moment ago, are the two goaltenders. Schindel has played very, very well, and he shows signs of being a pretty good stand-up goaltender, quick reaction, and Valatelio is the same, giant of a man, and one goal beat him like that shouldn't have. Is that a final score?
No, I think it's late in the third period. The United States in the lead in their game with Germany. 3:44 to play, third period. This is Liba for the Czechs. Working along the boards against Hackison. Mats Naslund comes up with it for Sweden. Ahead for Hackison. And it's kept in at the line by Musil. Now offside.
I was talking the other day to officials of Team USA, Lou Nanny in particular, and he happened to say that USA had to beat West Germany by at least 3 goals in case Team Canada beat the Soviet Union tonight by 1. So it doesn't look like they're going to beat them by 3 goals. So if Canada can beat the Soviets tonight, they will be in second place. And that second and third playoff series between Canada and the United States. Oh, that'll be a shootout, minor war.
I suppose that would be the most ideal way to have these semifinals shape up. Here's Sweden going in. The attack, that was Gustafsson. Now right up in front for Sundstrom, and he puts it home. Patrick Sundstrom gives Sweden a 2-goal lead.
Well, a little earlier on, I said I thought that Sundstrom hadn't played well and Gerdine hadn't played well. I guess that's all I have to say about these fellas. I'll talk to the Vancouver people. I hope to do their television this year. And when the 2 guys aren't playing well, I'll just say, hey, they're not on the top of their game tonight. But look, he just one-timed it. That was the key to that. He outfought for possession of the puck in the corner and made an excellent pass right onto his stick, and Patrick just let it go. And a little bit lucky between the checker's legs and also between the goalie's legs. But when you get them on the net and people are moving, they're going to go in like that. You haven't seen Sundstrom at his best. He's just a glorious hockey player.
Scored by number 17, his first of the Canada Cup, Patrick Sundstrom. Assist number 26, Mats Naslund, and number 2, Mats Thielen. The time, 16:54.
Well, I'm certainly convinced that Patrick Sundstrom and Thomas Gerdine have been playing under wraps up until now. They both scored their first goal of the series tonight. They have talent to get all kinds of goals. They're great, great hockey players, but they haven't been playing too well, I guess. Now's the time to get hot, though.
Now is the time. No question about it. 4-2, Sweden leading the Czechs. Czechs had a 2-goal lead after 1 period of play. Now they're down by 2 goals. Fazio plays it over for Lukács. Lukács bodied off the puck. Now Liba comes in to assist. Liba into the corner for Fazio. Now Lukács down once more. He's having a rough shift out there.
When you try to beat someone standing still, I'll tell you something here, it's going to be rough.
Steviana for Czechoslovakia across the line. He lost it. And it's claimed by Gerdine. Gerdine up into the center ice area. And backboard for Czechoslovakia, Steviana.
And it was Musil who made that check that the crowd hollered about. Good check.
This is Klima for Czechoslovakia, head on the right side. For Hrdina. Hrdina takes the shot. And it's blocked easily by Valatelio. Had the angle played perfectly. 1 minute, 35 seconds to play. Third period. Czechs down by 2. And the Swedes on the attack once more. This is Sandstrom along the boards, trailing on the play. Eklund, and they're jamming along the boards. Tempers flare just a little bit down there. Adlets is in there. More than a little bit now. Adlets for the Czechs. And there's Lee Bork on the verge of winning his 3rd game of Canada Cup '84. Very speedy Swedish team. That has been the strength of the Swedes. After a slow start, they played well against Canada and won 4-2 here in Vancouver a couple of nights ago.
We'll see how this started along the boards, and there's a number 28 in there, John Sandstrom for Sweden. There he's coming in late. He's a big kid, and I've noticed tonight he's got a tremendous burst of speed. He hangs onto the puck exceptionally well. He has great upper body strength. I'll tell you something, that's another guy I might get excited about. He doesn't belong to any National Hockey League club, at least to the best of the information that we have, and I think I might take a look at that fella.
Jan Klassen and Arnold Kadlets. Assessed penalties.
Penalties to Team CSSR number 8, Arnold Kadlets, 2 minutes for roughing. To Team Sweden number 29, Jan Klassen, 2 minutes for roughing. The time, 18:38.
Into the final minute almost now. 1 minute, 11 seconds to play. Period 3, the final game of the Canada Cup for Czechoslovakia. Sweden, of course, moving on to the semifinals. And the Swedes, after a slow start, have been rather dominant here in the third period, scoring 2 goals and taking the lead. Sandstrom out in front. And that was Steen just missing. Thomas Steen, number 21. Czechoslovakia back to the attack. This is Lukács. Check that, Lala rather. Number 20, Lala. He has it at the line, fought to a standstill there by Thomas Steen. Sweden, Håkan Loob. And Loob is relieved of the puck by Horvath. Horvath ahead for Musil. 25 seconds left in the third period. And Liba crosses the Swedish line. Can't control it there against Lindholm. 15 seconds on the clock as the Swedes Eldebrink takes it to center ice, feeding it ahead on the right side for Nielsen. Nielsen into the corner after it, can't control. Haraba comes up with it, plays it behind the net for Musil, and that's going to be it for this hockey game at the Vancouver Coliseum tonight as Sweden scores a 4-2 victory over Czechoslovakia. For the Swedes, that's 3 wins and 5 tournament appearances.
Well, I'm very disappointed in the Czechoslovakian club. As I said earlier, I've seen them play 2 very tough, very physical, very exciting, very well-played games so far in this tournament. And against Team Canada, they played the way they did tonight, without any enthusiasm, without any jumps, giving you the apparent interest that, hey, we've lost 3 in a row, I may as well make it 4 in a row. I'm surprised. I always thought the Czech people were very, very proud, were great hockey players and never give up, but I guess they give up tonight. Team Sweden just played hard enough to win the contest, no harder.
All right, Howie, again, the final score, Sweden 4, Czechoslovakia 2. We'll have more in a moment.
Now, from Yardley, an aftershave for men who go for gold. It's very cool, very fresh, with a masculine fragrance that's very British and typically Yardley. If you want an aftershave that's a winner, think Yardley and go for gold.
You're a whole new generation. You're loving what they do. I put a Pepsi in the motion, but that choice is up to you. Hey, you're the Pepsi generation. 'Cause I'm down and taste the thrill of the day. And feel the Pepsi way. You're a whole new generation.
Presenting the Labatt's Player of the Game Award is Mr. Howie Larkey, Marketing Services Manager for Labatt Breweries of British Columbia. The Labatt's Player of the Game for Team Sweden will receive an Eskimo carving provided through the courtesy of Esso. The Labatt Player of the Game for Team Sweden is number 17, Patrick Sundstrom.
Popular hometown choice there, Patrick Sundstrom.
The Labatt's Player of the Game for Team CSSR will receive a Canon T70 camera. The Labatt's Player of the Game for Team CSSR is number 11, Igor Liba.
I don't think you can argue with that one. That's your pal, Igor Liba.
Not at all. He carried the puck extremely well, and I'm very, very much surprised that he wasn't more productive in the series. I was impressed with his speed and his finesse and his skills the first game we saw in London last Tuesday. But I guess he hasn't really produced the goals and the assists the way I thought he could.
All right, let's look back to the scoring summary. Here's how it went tonight. First period, 2 goals by Czechoslovakia. Liba first and then Kamish late in the game, late in the period, I should say, at 19:05, a 2-0 lead for the Czechs. Now the second period belonged to Sweden. Hackinson, his first of the Canada Cup at 4:25 from Eriksson and Naslund, and then Thomas Steen from Loob and Thielen at 7:49. It was all even heading into the final period. 2 more goals for Sweden. Gradin, his first in the Canada Cup at 9:41 from the Sundstrom brothers. And then Patrick Sundstrom, his first of the Canada Cup at 16:55, iced the victory for Team Sweden, who came up with a 4-2 final, and the shots on goal favored Sweden 30-22 as well. So Team Sweden with a record of 3 wins and 2 losses, moving on to the semi-final action of the Canada Cup. We don't know exactly who they'll be playing, but once again, the final score in Vancouver tonight, Sweden 4 and Czechoslovakia, winless in the Canada Cup, had 2 goals tonight. All right, Jimmy, take it away.
Thank you very much, John. So the preliminary round, at least for Czechoslovakia, the tournament for Czechoslovakia, the preliminary round for Sweden has now completed. Sweden, of course, skating to that victory this evening at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. Bruce Hood is with us, along with Roger Nielsen to my left. Bruce, I was really disappointed in the way Czechoslovakia played tonight, knowing the history that this hockey team has in international competition, especially in the Canada Cup. They made it to the final in the first year and had a very strong showing at the last Canada Cup. A little disappointed in the way they performed this time around.
Seemed like they've been building all these years to establish a good hockey team in the Canada Cup competition, but the word we get is there's a little dissension there. They've got a lot of young players, and when you have young players, they don't have the same heart to get up as the veterans do, to get up and be ready for the game. The other thing is, apparently there's a lot of scouts in the stands, and they're a little bit uptight maybe because they like to be over here playing in the National Hockey League too. So just a whole lot of, seems like a whole lot of problems there.
Roger, the fact that Czechoslovakia is building for the 88 games possibly in Calgary with a young team, a lot of them are youngsters. Does the inexperience come into play?
Perhaps, but they won that big tournament in Sweden, and I'm sure they came into this tournament figuring they're one of the 3 top teams, and they'd have an excellent chance of winning it, and I think they're going to be extremely disappointed when they get back to Prague. And you know, Ludi Bukac is one of the great coaches in the game, but you know, somewhere along the line, I think heads are going to roll. It was a disgrace for Czechoslovakia to come here and not get a win.
I would imagine that Mr. Bukac, I understand, this year is receiving his papers to coach in North America if, in fact, he wants to. And I would say that maybe he just might decide that it's, I don't mean to be facetious or anything, but he just may decide that it's time to move on and try the North American game for a bit.
It may not be his decision.
It may not. Okay, taking a look at the standings tonight. If Canada loses to the Soviets later on tonight, the Soviets will finish first with 10 points. Canada will wind up in 4th spot with 5. The USA will have 7, and Sweden will have 6. That sets up a preliminary round of Canada and the USSR in a sudden death semifinal, the USA and Sweden in a sudden death semifinal, and certainly the Canadians are not going to like to have to play the Soviets twice in 1 week.
That's for sure. I think it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of talk whether the Soviets want to win tonight. We go back to the last Canada Cup in '81, and they, in fact, I don't know whether they let Canada win the final game of the preliminary round, build their confidence, and then just embarrass the heck out of them in that 8-1 final. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's what they have in mind tonight.
Well, if that's what they have in mind, if psychology is something that they're going to use, would it not be more beneficial to them to beat Canada tonight and really put them behind the 8 ball and say, listen, we beat you once, we're going to beat you again later this week in the semifinal?
It's hard to tell. As a coach, I don't see how you could ever tell a team to lose or coach the game so that they know that you're trying to lose. I don't think you can do that. However, we don't know the European makeup, and it's often been said that the Russians treat a tournament like a chess game, and they're going to pick their spots. And certainly, I think they would really like to see the North American teams play each other, and then they only have to play one of them, because the Russians would have no fear going against the Swedes, and after beating them 41 times in a row. So, but I agree with you, Jim. If I were the coach, I'd say let's bury these guys right now, and but it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Okay, looking at the standings again, Sweden is the surprise as far as victories and losses are concerned this tournament. They've made it into the preliminary round ahead of Czechoslovakia. They have to consider getting to the playoffs at least a bonus because they didn't make it last time. They were in the same position last Canada Cup as Czechoslovakia is in this time around.
That's right. I think 2 surprises in the final standing. The USA, Team USA played, I believe, better than we thought they might. And I think Sweden and Czechoslovakia kind of reversed roles. That Sweden was, in the past, was the team that kind of went in the tank early. Last year, I think the only win they had was over Finland. That was the only team they could beat, and Finland won nothing. So really, that seems to be that's what's happened. They reversed roles.
Okay, we have an opportunity now to go back to Vancouver for with John Wells and Howie Meeker. We've got one of the players from the game standing by, so let's go to the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver.
Final score in Vancouver once more, Sweden over the Czechs 4-2. Patrick Sundström, the #1 star of the Swedish team, who just received the Labatt Award, joins me now. He's down on the bench. And Patrick, a few thoughts about the game tonight. I thought in some ways Sweden started a little bit slow in the first period. Is that how you'd assess it, or did the Czechs just get a little bit lucky?
Well, you might be a little bit right there, but they had 2 power play goals and we had a lot of chances, so I didn't think we played that bad the first period.
Are you, or might you have been looking ahead to the semifinals a little bit at the start of this game and not thinking as seriously about Czechoslovakia?
It's tough to say, but we had to play good in this game. We could come flying into the playoffs, and I thought we played a pretty good game.
What's your assessment of Team Sweden? Is this the best international hockey side that you've ever been a part of?
This is a very good team. I played on the 81 team too, but this team is we're working harder, the whole team. We had maybe more talent on the team 81, but this team is working a lot harder.
It's certainly got a lot of firepower out there with the Gradines and the Sundström brothers. Nice to play with your brother again, I suppose.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Okay, looking ahead to the semifinals, and we really don't know who you're going to be playing. Is there a preference as far as the Swedish hockey team is concerned about who you might meet in the semifinal on Wednesday?
It doesn't matter. Like both Canada, Soviets, and the U.S. have very good teams, so it really doesn't matter.
Some suggestion it might be easier to pull an upset against the Soviets than the Canadians playing in a semifinal setup because of the obvious support that Canada will have in the Canada Cup semifinals. How do you look to that?
Well, we beat the Canadians the last game, so you never know.
All right, continued success. Thank you very much for stopping by, and congratulations on your Star Award here tonight.
Thank you.
Patrick Sundström, Vancouver Canucks, and of course, of Team Sweden, Rick Lands of the Vancouver Canucks has witnessed this contest here tonight. He joins me in our location upstairs. How did you view the proceedings?